Good evening, everyone. Welcome again to another presentation of our broadcast here in the Issues Room. This evening, we present the 216th edition. My name is Volcano Shelton here at Anchor with you, and it's a pleasure having you, our viewers. We hope that you will join us here tonight for a very wonderful discussion. You and I know that many things took place over the last day, particularly with the events trending in Liberia. Again, we are here on Tuesdays and Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 12 midnight in Monrovia, Liberia. We encourage you, wherever you are, to please join us here, share our link, invite others. Those of you, our avid viewers, who are here night in and night out on the 2 days we broadcast here on Friday and on Tuesday, we say thank you, thank you, thank you for your commitment. The Issues Room has been around for a little over 2 years. The purpose of establishing this network of podcast is to acquaint you and enlighten you of the things happening in Liberia. It doesn't matter what government is in power, who is responsible. We just want to come here and engage you and talk about how we can improve our country. Of course, we have to look at the ills in the society. We have to look at the things that we're not doing right and hopefully proffer some good solutions or uh, pieces of advice, not only from the network, but of course from our viewers, from our visitors, from our guests who join us here night in and night out. We say thank you, thank you, and thank you. If you just joined us for the first time, make this spot your spot. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesday and Friday. And that's weekly. Again, tonight we'll be looking at the just ended inauguration that took place yesterday with an unfortunate event, but at least to a greater extent, the program did go well up to the moment that the president, who was sworn in as the 26th president of the Republic of Liberia since its formation in 1847, His Excellency Joseph Boakai, had a mishap, a situation that I believe the planners, the country, those responsible for setting up the event, the past government, the current government, the transition team, everyone did not look at all of the factors considering the time of the year and how hot Liberia presents to be. Any Liberian knows that in January, it is the hottest month in the country. And to not consider all of the factors involved and to take that program in the broad daylight under the scorching sun with no, perfect airing. And when I use the word airing, but something more of creating the space that people would feel the breeze coming, even though the ocean is right across the street. But even at that, the ocean would be blowing hot air and human heat by itself. So having hundreds and hundreds of people, everyone using papers to fan the program to fan, water, no one bringing water around in what you would call consider a waiter or a cooler or a basket and giving people water. I mean, they could have shipped 2, 3 containers of water, cool those water off and give to people. Nobody did all of those things. And it was just horrible to the point that a life was lost as a result of this unfortunate event. But we'll learn from those things as we go along. I'm hoping that the transition process will never be at the will and pleasure of someone. It will be constitutional and it will have mandate in the bill that would put that in place so that who doesn't hold their part of the bargain, whether the outgoing and the incoming, to merge to have a wonderful transition, they can be held, accountable in the legal framework. But thank you so much. Let's start the conversation tonight. Let me call Moses Sandy in now. Moses, welcome. Um,
Thank you.
we're back
Thank you,
here.
Volcano.
So we
Yeah,
need not
uh,
we need not
it's
dwell
good.
on a lot of salutations, but
Yeah, it's good to be back with this post inaugural podcast. Tonight is gonna be a very important discussion. Like you kick it off, it's rather good for us to dive into the mishap of yesterday, the poll planning, the execution is important to dive into that. And so let me say thank you for the opportunity.
to start this conversation, let's go back to the formation of the transitional team. The transitional team was put together to usher in a new government. An outgoing government gives account of what is expected of them in terms of when I come to relieve you of duty, you tell me, say, my man, during this time, this was what happened. Here's the documentation. This is everything. And now you take over shift. If I have some question, I ask to verify some of those things, and I take shift. It's just like a military man relieving the guy from his guard post. He wants to know if there was any kind of event, any incident, any threat, anything he needs to be aware of. We saw
Well,
that from the onset, things didn't look well.
I mean, it is an open secret. Everybody knows that the process from day one to yesterday was poorly managed.
And that's where we're going. So I'm setting the tune before you're coming.
Okay.
So we all know that those things didn't happen. Uh, One party felt aggrieved that they were no longer, I believe they didn't put money aside or think that there was a potential that they could be turning over power. And in as much as the president elect decided at the time that he wanted a small program, what I think President Boakai didn't understand is that the Liberian men don't like small things, and everybody want to be a part of the thing. And the fact that things were not on course, particularly for the planning up to the 11th hour, we were hearing that the monies were given in small spurts. And so all they could do was just to create a venue. But the things that were supposed to enhance that venue and make it safe, those things were not considered. Let's just have the program. And I believe it was the mindset that went with rather Moses. So let's just have the program is the reason why this event took place. So you don't just have the program. You don't just have the program. Here are some of the things I want to say before you come in, and you can take all the time in the world. Transition of power must be a collaborative and cohesive process. There must be no hard feelings. It's not a loser winner kind of situation. And you shouldn't be begging people because the constitution calls for it. You shouldn't be bowing to the outgoing government because they say they got 2 months in power so they can do anything. You shouldn't be bowing to them. It must be a process of collaboration. There must be a timeline. The budget must have a timeline. The monies in the budget for transition must be provided within a specific timeline. And if that timeline is not met, then that can be considered a sabotage. And when the incoming government takes power, it needs to review that. And those people who are responsible should be dealt with. The committees set up from outgoing to incoming must be on the same frequency. They must work together. Um, there must be crowd control. Very important. People don't just go to places with no crowd control because if things go out of hand, what's going to happen? There must be resources on site. Resources on site. Fire truck, ambulances. I'm not talking about the one ambulance that South Joseph got running around there sometimes no gas. We're talking about all of that should be in the budget. Put all of these things on the table and ensure that it happens, especially when you're having international guests. People of, I mean, I think we're happy to any of the international people. How would be looking today? You know, the selection of venue. You can just come from the clear blue sky and say you just want somewhere and you go there. No, the selection of venue and its appropriateness. Is this venue is it conducive enough? How can you go bring dignitaries and put party outside? You're afraid to carry the people in the building because they say the bathroom them were not working, and the beginning went on strike. They say they holding no water by gallon. They will not be there to flush nobody poo poo for them. So Moses, I just told to throw these things. All of these things were not considered, but you know we got a big behavior. Everybody wants to be upfront. Everybody want to take control. Everybody want to jump in things. The key word, jump in things, and they don't even have the prowess to do those things. And we will deal with Miata Formula tonight because why did she get sick?
I
The
mean,
jaw
no,
was too
I
big
mean,
for her.
no, that one there, no
No,
one has
no,
control.
I mean the jaw was too big for her. The frustration, all of that. Because just putting chairs out there and putting low banners and stuff, that was not sufficient. That was not sufficient. And just the other day, we are talking about the people saw the tanker and they went there. The people saw hell and they walked into it by the hundreds. They saw hell. No water, no nothing. Can you imagine? Go ahead, Moses.
But I mean, basically, what you say is a complete summary of what we saw yesterday and the planning process. Just to add on to what you said, I would like to begin. For me, when it comes to truth telling, I do not mince my words. What we saw yesterday was indeed an embarrassment. The event was poorly managed. There was no crowd control. Resources were not available. I mean, everything was terrible. The stage was poorly managed. You saw executives, world leaders sitting, and people literally, just moving back and forth. You saw world leaders sitting in the sun, 90 degrees, literally fanning themselves, even though they had canopies or tents, but that's not enough. The environment in which the event was held, I think the place was overcrowded. Um, you talked earlier about planning and Volcano. I watched a video that emerged from Monrovia. The event was on Monday, was scheduled for Monday. On Sunday, the people were at the Capitol. A video that the
Go ahead.
people were at the Capitol, working. That shows that they were just doing anything they can to make sure that it was done. Uh,
But
this
that's not
event
true
should
to
have
say
been
let's
planned.
have the program.
Yeah, they should have prepared. I mean, they should have prepared the environment, days in advance, make sure that everything was in touch. I mean, was in order. You saw even coming to the issue of sound, you saw the signal that was coming from LBS because they had this arrangement that all media institutions should feed. We agree that LBS is a national broadcast entity, but LBS comparatively, when it comes to news coverage, I'm not talking about the content, but having the capacity to reach, you know, a wider audience, having the capacity to have men spread out, having the capacity to zone from one anchor to another. LBS is not comparable to Spoon. Spoon is the most powerful network in the country. So to
But stop
ask
there, stop there,
Spoon
stop there,
to
stop there.
feed from
No,
LBS,
Moses, hold on.
yes,
It's I would say in consideration that would be the wrong statement to make.
Well,
Yes. Come in. Let me make my point quick. Then you can come in. You haven't been to Liberia and you don't know
I
the.
haven't, but I
That's
was
the point.
following.
No, but I would say that you don't understand the sophistication of where LBS is.
Okay.
Okay, I would say take that back. If you say have a wider audience or a wider audience, and the only wider audience that Spoon has is Spoon Network. I mean, or Spoon Talk.
But look,
I'm coming now. I'm
Volcano.
coming.
Yeah.
Listen to me, gosh. Yeah, you will make your point. The
Yeah.
only wider audience that Spoon Network has is Spoon Talk, and it's all because of social media. They don't have the capacity and towers and stuff to reach the sub region and all over the place. LBS has that capacity. LBS has state of the art equipment. I've been in the studios. They've revamped the whole television. So Spoon just bought little pieces of stations. He doesn't have the sophistication of equipment to say that he's the top and most powerful. No. What is happening here is that when people have not the capacity, the skill set to set OB up and design it, you and I know our time. What is happening now at LBS is a different time. You can have the resources, but you don't have the skill set. Even me here, who when I go to parties and I hear DJs playing, they don't even know how to set up the equipment to give music the clarity because they play the music from one sound quality. Every recording has a different ambience. You must understand those things, but they don't. And so as a result, yes, there were a lot of static. They didn't have the setup designed well, but the equipment was were there to be used. And if the skills were there to set it up, then it would have been better. So the static was
So
there.
so
That's all.
so Volcano, you
So
just
that's not the power, but that's not the power. It's not the
yeah,
most
no, but
powerful.
Volcano, let me just say this: you indirectly conceded to what I said.
No, I'm
Let
looking at
me
your word
complete my thoughts.
powerful.
No, man. Let me complete my thoughts. What I'm saying here is that anyone will watch the event yesterday, and let's start this criticism with ourselves. Anyone who watched the event yesterday, when it comes to getting a broader view of the scenery, LBS did not have that capability. Spoon Television, the network, those guys were bringing images from one angle to another because
Those are
allow me
all.
wait.
Yeah,
But
but
man, allow me, let me complete my thoughts.
everything was just telephone, man. Come on, what's
Volcano,
sophistication?
Volcano, let me complete my thoughts. Those guys were bringing us images from one angle to another. LBS did not do that. I was doing comparison. I was watching Spoon at the same time I was watching LBS. You and I will wait for LBS. I cannot put LBS down, but LBS did not meet the expectation yesterday. They gave LBS that that golden opportunity that everybody should feel from LBS. As a result, what we saw, destruction, destruction in the sound. Because everybody feeding from LBS, the terrible audio coming from LBS is what was being relayed.
I understand that, but I'm looking at and I did concur with respect to the skill set to set up the equipment. It's not that the equipments were faulted. It's not
But
that
that's what I said
but
then.
you
Just
said that Spoon is the most powerful, and I want you to take that word back
no, and see, let me. I this is
because
I
everything. Hold on
qualify.
here,
I
Moses.
qualify my statement.
Yeah,
This is what I said.
everything here that's been done is all social media. All of these things are phones. All the
No,
guys walking around with phones in their hand. Now, do you know? Did you watch some of the broadcasts? The young kid called Diamond Slanger when he was interviewing Fonati Kova. Oh,
did you
I'm
hear
coming.
me?
I'm coming.
No, Volcano.
Hold on now. You're talking about sophistication. I'm trying to make you understand. This is what we do for a living. This is what we did for a living. Okay? When he was interviewing Fonati, he was clear because he had a mic on him. But Fonati had no mic. You could barely hear Fonati. And many other people he interviewed one on one. You barely hear them.
Well,
So there's
I
a lot of
said,
problems going on that need to be fixed
yeah.
across the board.
Look, Volcano. I saw earlier and I want to reiterate, I said in terms of having the capability to give the audience a broader spectrum of the scene of what was happening at the Capitol. Spoon Network defeated LBS. I said in terms of content, no, because LBS had a lot of seasoned journalists sitting over there yesterday. Kwame Clement, Cyrus Badio, Aaron Colley, the guys were there doing analysis. And these guys are people that you and I, came after. They were role model for us. They did an excellent job yesterday. But Spoon beat them because they never had that capability of
Moses,
bringing the various scenery.
but Moses, hold on here, hold on here. Let me make you understand something here now. The issue here of Spoon throwing boys who can speak English all over the place with a
But
cell
that
phone.
is not what we're discussing.
I'm coming, but that's what I'm saying. I'm coming now. No, you're trying to say something here that you're not getting.
Go ahead.
When we were practicing and when we were in the field, when we were practitioners, people who took my rounds those days and the cover segment and they brought those clips back and played them. Do you know whether they did those things and they would do production? All of
But
you, Moses, and let me finish. You don't know that. Now,
Volcano,
did
we are
LBS
two career
no,
broadcasters.
no, hold on, man. Hold on. Did LBS give people cell phones, sophisticated cell phones? Because what you're talking about, Moses, let me finish.
Go ahead.
What you're talking about here, if
Yeah.
somebody is doing a broadcast on a camera, like
hmm
the action news feed, it has to go to the transmitter to come live if they have that sophistication in real
Yeah.
time.
hmm
If not, they will do that pre-recording and come back and do a production. You and I know that. But the point I'm making here is that LBS is not the radio station or the television station that is giving or taking the employees and saying, and your cell phone here, go in places and do coverage and it will feed it live. All of those things that I'm coming, Moses. Hold on. All of those things that you saw coming are all live, go live. Go live. That's all they were doing. It's not that they and anything that goes live, anything that comes out of it is what you get.
Okay, so let me tell you. Let me
Yeah,
just
you
comment
raise
on
some
this.
people around and say go
Let me.
live and cover
I
this.
know a lot of people want to hear from us tonight on
Yeah,
other aspects. The whole eating issue about media coverage. Uh, when an event such as that is being organized for television coverage, the television stations will mount cameras at various angles so that they zoom in, they zoom out, you're shifting from camera A to camera B, so that Moses Sandy is coming from the executive mansion, you will be able to pick him up,
is that what
you'll
Spoon
be
did?
able to
Is that
pick
what
up.
Spoon did? Is that
Allow me,
no, no, is
allow
that what
me,
Spoon did?
you'll be able to pick up
I
Volcano
understand.
Shelton,
Is that
coming
what Spoon did?
from, where is coming from
Let's answer the
LU,
question.
where is coming from the Temple of Justice.
You ain't got to do all of
That's
that.
the kind of panoramic view I'm talking about.
But is that what
LBS
Spoon
did
did?
not. I mean, LBS was unable to do that.
But
We
did
saw
Spoon do
Spoon.
that?
Man, wait. We saw Spoon. We saw Spoon bringing scenes from various angles. So they beat LBS on that.
But bringing scenes from in what trend? How was these scenes
I
brought?
was I was interested in seeing videos, and no guys were able to demonstrate that.
But then you're saying two things. You're talking about mounting cameras with anchors in different sections and feeding to a live transmitter at the broadcast station. That's one thing. Maybe LBS didn't have that sophistication to do that
Oh,
with
Volcano,
via.
that's
I'm
what I'm
coming. I'm
saying.
coming. I'm coming. Maybe they didn't have that sophistication to do that at different angles. But what they did was they created this whole space where the professionals you talked about, the Kwame Clement and the rest of those guys, were going live on ELBC for
I
the
know.
country.
Radio
Now,
was,
now,
yeah.
now, now, had you gone to LBS online on the Facebook page, you would have caught it. No,
Okay.
but no, you didn't do that.
No, Volcano, no. Don't say you didn't do that.
But
I
then you
was
have.
watching. LBS went live from its official website.
Mhm.
That's where they did the broadcast from.
So
Everything I'm telling you, I
yeah,
watched it.
so
I
they
was doing comparison. I was
so they did it
watching
on,
Spoon.
so they
Give me
yes.
a break. I was watching Spoon at the same time I was watching LBS. The two of us here are career broadcaster. And not only being on radio, but I was also a part of a television crew. So I know what it means covering such an event. I know what we did at the Ministry of Information when Mr. Dole had to be covered for such an event. I know how camera was mounted. I didn't see that happening from the angle of LBS. I saw when Joseph Boakai arrived, Spoon FM, I mean Spoon TV picking up. LBS did not do that because they had no camera there. I saw other people from other angles. Spoon picked them up.
Moses,
LBS did not do that. So that's
Moses,
what I'm saying.
Moses,
Comparatively, give
let's
me a
not,
break.
no.
Comparatively, Spoon beat LBS to the game. LBS even exacerbated the situation because they being the national broadcaster, they were given the opportunity to be the sole source having direct access to all of the events that everybody should feel from them
No, not the,
because they had a
no,
terrible,
not all of
well,
the
because they
events.
had a
The
terrible,
podium. Say the podium.
okay, from the podium,
Okay.
because they had a terrible audio that affected the entire broadcast. When the oath, when the oath was being delivered by the Chief Justice to President Joseph Boakai, did you not listen how terrible it was because they were feeding from LBS? That should not have been the case.
But
This is the national broadcast entity.
but hold on now, Moses. Hold on now. Yes, the sophistication we're talking about here. You don't call Spoon a TV. People
Let them
holding
forget
cell
about
phone
that.
around
Let's move
everybody.
forward, my brother.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. People holding cell phone all over the place and calling themselves TV. It
That
is
is not what
wrong.
I'm saying.
No. But it is wrong.
Spoon goes
LBS
beyond self.
LBS is traditional. Listen to me. I want you to listen. LBS is traditional. The people not walking around the street with TV, I mean, or with cell phone and calling themselves TV. LBS is traditional. If they're going to carry something live via television, they're broadcasting straight to the transmitter and it's going on LNTV in the country. For who can catch signal will catch signal. Then they feed to their online website. That's the difference. That's the traditional. Spoon able to give cell phone to the beginning and they run around and play. One man standing to the front, one man standing to the back. Everybody going live.
And then how were they
To
able
me,
to
I'm
how were they able to feed into one another to do the camera A coming B out? How were they able to do all of that? The synchronizing. How were they able to do that?
what are you talking about synchronized? The thing
The
that
guys were
no man,
synchronizing.
hold on, man. Many clips coming on. That's all.
Eh?
The clips, various clips, various clips.
The man tells you say camera A, now we go to camera A and you see
Okay.
what
All right,
is
let's leave
happening.
that door. Let's leave that door. The issue here is LBS goofed. I'm coming.
Well, anyway, let's come back.
Hold on now. Hold on.
We can
LBS goofed. Yeah, let me finish up now. LBS goofed at the podium. They did not do good static check with regards to the equipment they mounted up there. But you can also say that you were not there to know how clear it was.
No,
Maybe
no, no,
I'm
no. I
coming.
mean, LBI,
Moses,
Volcano,
you do this
this
all the time.
this thing here, my brother. There's no way we can fix it for LBS.
No,
LBS dropped
hold,
the ball.
hold
No,
on now. Hold on.
no. I mean, LBS dropped the ball.
You don't know how clear the equipment were.
No,
If
no,
people are standing with cell phone and say they want to feed from LBS, then a different thing.
no. But Volcano, there was no need for me to be there. If I'm feeding from you, like the podcast we are doing now, if somebody decides to relay this podcast, if the person is relaying and the source from which the podcast is coming is terrible, obviously on that network, the audio will also be what? Terrible.
All right, let's just move on.
So
I think
LBS did a terrible job on
I think
that.
the whole idea
Now
here.
let's
No. I'm going to the clip. I'm going to just to the clip and we'll have the conversation. You got something else you want to talk about?
no, go ahead.
Okay.
I think this is too far ahead. Before we come here, I think we needed to look at other things there. But anyway, play.
I want us to critique this situation here, okay? And the reason why I'm here because everyone's seen it. So the conversation here is what could have gone right, what went wrong, okay? What could have done right. That's the whole crux of this conversation. So the president is now at a point, and I was getting myself ready for work yesterday because it was within the time frame here, 7 in the morning is 12, somewhere around there. And at some point, I started to hear him kind of slur a little bit. And then I felt maybe he missed his line because on one point he was a little paused for a while. And that's when I saw him wipe his face with his hand. Can you imagine? We're talking about the planning. There's no handkerchief on the podium. There's not a bottle of water on the
But he had a
podium.
handkerchief.
I
Used
don't
a
know if there was
handkerchief, yeah.
handkerchief in his hand. Let's look.
He had a handkerchief, yeah.
Hold on. Is that a handkerchief?
No, prior to that, before when he was reading, I saw him wipe his face with an handkerchief. Prior to that event, I mean,
But wasn't that his bare hand?
no, I saw him wipe his face with.
Asking you for this scene. You're talking something else. I'm asking you, wasn't that his bare hand? Did it look
I
like
mean, yeah, this was his bare hand,
okay,
you
okay,
know.
all right,
But remember now, he was losing what consciousness.
okay. I'm just checking. That's all.
You see that? He was losing consciousness. He couldn't. You see, he had already lost consciousness. He needed help. The guy sent for two
That's
other
it.
persons.
Yeah, I seen it. Everybody saw it. I'm just looking. That's all.
You see Mr. Weir and his wife. That was terrible. You see the people fanning him.
Legislation will be in order.
You see,
Let me add Alfonso. But Alfonso saw things here. So, um, Moses, you are getting old now. So I know how we'll do it when you get old.
okay. I don't know. You turning you the youngest on the team.
Why you saying now? I don't want
The
to.
next the youngest.
I know. I know, I know how we do it when we get old too. Got a bottle of water, handkerchief, and
Yeah.
behind him.
Mm.
But listen, man, who told the people to go outside there? Dog brought it over, my man.
But look, uh, um, just before Alfonso come in, a couple of things that we need to wrap our head around before even discussing this video. For Kenna, from what I've been hearing, what I've been reading about, the people said they had invitations, but a lot of people show up to the event that were uninvited. So it means that the whole issue of invitation, it was uncontrollable. How do you assemble that large number of people without even a bottle of water for people to drink with a temperature of almost 100 degrees? The protocol, no protocol, everything in shambles. You brought world leaders sitting on 80, 90 degrees, literally fanning themselves. And Mr. Boakai, like any other person, he suffered heat exhaustion.
But let's stop there, Moses, quickly. Near that formula, when did she become an event planner? In this country, people don't just give event of that magnitude to anybody because you want to chair a committee. Everyone has the area. Event planner will put things on the table. They will review the circumstance. They will understand whether the venue commensurate with the expected crowd. They will look at all of the things: food, water, air, all sanitation, all those things that will consider it. How did this happen? Is it now because somebody or on the class reloaded and were talking plenty, so you made them event plan? I mean, chairman of the committee.
But look,
I know somebody going to say, yeah, I know you're going to defend it, say, oh, but being the chairman, you ain't got to be the one planning.
you don't.
But who got control? Stop it.
No,
Stop
Volcano.
it. You were just here blasting at George Weah, but most of the thing that happened to George Weah was a lieutenant, and you know it.
Yeah, but that is where again leadership comes in.
So then where was the leadership?
Okay, so let me say this.
Yeah.
Let me say this. I agree that everybody fumbled. Things were badly managed, right? But we don't necessarily have to say that being a chair of an inaugural committee, it means that you must be a career event planner. No. All it takes was dedicating responsibilities and holding people accountable, monitoring, supervising, redirecting. My man, you're in management. I need that,
No, but Moses, you
sing
can't.
to the
No,
choir.
no, event
But
planning.
that's how it
I
works.
may, if
People
I
go
may,
to
if
school.
I may,
Go to
if I
school.
may come
Yeah, you
in,
come in, Alphonso.
Yeah, go ahead, Alfonso.
People go to school to have
Yeah,
degrees.
what I'm
Stop it.
saying,
Come in.
being a chair of an inaugural committee doesn't mean that you need a degree in
and
event
Moses,
planning.
you're
You
right.
dedicate, you hire,
And
you
Moses,
hire competent people to do the job for
well,
you.
Moses, first of all, you got to know who is competent. And part
Say
of
that
knowing
again.
who is competent is also having some knowledge in the area that you are managing and supervising.
Yes, that's
So
what I'm
that is,
saying. You hire the right type of people.
but you can't direct people until you have
You have
knowledge
the
in it.
competence
And
of
that is where Volcano is also
coming
correct.
from. What
Say
you
that
talking-
Being
again.
a chairman doesn't mean that you are planning the event. But what it requires of you is that you should know and tap the right people and know what is supposed to happen. So when they are not doing the thing they're supposed to do, they're not doing the right thing, you have some knowledge to know that they're not doing the right thing and therefore to redirect them, as you said. But if you yourself don't even know what your lieutenants are supposed to be doing, how are you going to redirect them?
And that's why you
So
you
let me
have
put this
hold on.
question
No,
to
no, no.
you.
Don't be fair tonight. That's where you have qualms with President Weah. The man lack clue. The man was just putting people in places, and he
No, let
didn't
me let
follow.
me put this
Oh,
question to the both of you.
okay, bring it.
Mm.
Okay, this is my question. Did anyone go to school to be president?
People went to school to learn politics, to
Mm-hmm.
learn economics, to
Mm-hmm.
learn philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
to learn leadership. Not
Okay.
necessarily be president, but to present and be able to do
Well
things.
rounded,
To acquire leadership skills, right?
Yes,
and to be
yes.
well
Okay.
rounded.
So
Be well rounded.
yeah, so basically
Mhm,
you guys are agreeing with me that all it takes is leadership skill. I don't have to be a medical doctor
mhm,
to run a medical facility as an administrator. I
mhm.
don't. I don't need a degree in that.
Y- Yeah,
You
but
both
You
wait, wait,
must have
guys,
knowledge.
wait,
but
guys.
Moses, nobody
So,
said you need
so,
that. But
so
but to be an
no
administrator
one
of a
went to school
medical
to
facility,
become a president. What
no.
the president does,
Mhm.
the president uh,
Moses,
recruits
Moses,
a team that will help
Moses,
him manage the affair of the
Moses.
country.
Nobody would take
Yeah.
Moses Sandy and make him an
So,
administrator
so
of an
Moses,
officer.
the
I'm coming. I'm coming.
administrator
You
of medical institutions,
must
there's
have a
actually
help.
training.
Yeah,
They
you must have.
got training. They got schools you go to administer
Don't don't
to
confuse.
be medical
I'm not
administrator.
saying I'm
You
not
have
saying
that
that.
education level. So a medical
Look,
administrator doesn't need to be a medical
A
doctor,
doctor. Or you
but
must have
they studied
administration in
health
healthcare.
administration. So they understand, they have basic
Absolutely.
knowledge of how health institutions
So
run.
Aaron,
Aaron.
but
Yes.
so then
And
how can
that's
you
the
be an
point we're
event
making.
planner? How can you
That's
be
the
an
point we're
event
making.
planner and you have no clue
Yeah.
that the people needed water there? Those
Yeah.
are the questions. Hold on, Moses, don't do
Uh,
this, man. Stop it.
So
Stop
no,
it.
no, no, guys.
No,
I
no,
think
no.
you guys are picking a fight the wrong way with
No, we're
this
not
woman.
picking a fight the wrong
no.
way.
Look, so this is what I'm saying.
Mm,
Everybody,
mhm.
everybody dropped the ball, even with the outgoing administration.
Yeah. I'm
Before we
agree.
even go to the chair of the inaugural committee,
Mm-hmm.
the government allocated $650 million for this. Yeah,
$650,000.
$650,000 for this event,
Mm-hmm.
and the check bounced.
Okay.
And you guys are talking about why she didn't do this, why she
No,
didn't
no,
do
no,
that.
Moses, but
How are
you're
you going to
no,
do all of
no,
these
no, no,
things
Moses,
without
Moses,
money?
don't do that. Moses, do not do that. Don't leave the issue under discussion here.
No, I'm not leaving the issue. I'm
Is
just
it
giving you
because
a
of the
graphic example of some of the
650,000? Is it
challenges.
because of the scissor, the check bounce? That's why they didn't have water. The
Oh,
check bounce. That's why they didn't have fan to be blowing people. The check bounce. That's why they put people under
no, Volcano,
93
answer
degree
it, man.
weather.
Because I don't know how you expect me to answer
No,
that other
Yeah,
no, no,
question.
no.
I'll
I'm
go
not
with
asking
you.
you to answer. I
Oh,
think you're not. First of all, you're not
So,
allowing us
so,
to make
so
our
let's
point.
say this, right?
Moses, no, you're not
If
going to say
if
that.
if
You're going to
let
give
me
us
finish now.
opportunity to speak
Throw a
as well.
question. Let me answer.
You're going to give us chance to make our points too. Let's have a conversation
Yeah,
here, sir.
you
it
lay
is
a
laughable, honestly.
Yeah. The fact of the matter, the point, I agree with you. You do not have to be an event planner to be chair of inauguration committee.
you don't have
Absolutely.
But
knowledge.
you must have an idea. You must have hands on to be able to direct the people who are doing it and to if they're not doing the right thing, for you to know that they're not doing the right thing. That was part of Judge Weah's problem.
Mhm.
Judge Weah had no knowledge, so he didn't even know if his minister of commerce was doing something wrong. He didn't know if his somebody was doing something wrong, so he couldn't redirect them.
Because
Now, in the same vein, Moses, you
mhm.
cannot come in and say everybody dropped the ball, but the chairman of the inaugural committee.
No, I'm
It
not
doesn't.
saying
You don't
no,
need.
no, no. I
You
said
don't. I'm coming.
everybody,
I'm coming,
including the
Moses.
chair.
You don't need event. You don't need to be an event planner to know
Absolutely.
that you shouldn't put people under a 93-degree weather with tarpaulin over them, which raises the temperature. You don't know to be an event planner to know that people need water under a 93-degree temperature weather sitting down outside. You don't need to be an event planner. You just need to have your hands on the ball. And
Absolutely.
the planners and the chair people did not have their hands on the ball.
So
The
then,
planner, and
Alfonso,
that's
it
just a
comes
fact.
back.
Yeah.
Then Alfonso, it comes back to what I said
Mm.
that everybody why drop the ball.
But you seem to be excusing the chairperson
No,
of
I
the
didn't.
events
When I say
because when
everybody, it's
Volcano
what
was mentioning
inclusive
it, you
of the
said
chair.
no. Well, Volcano mentioned it and you said no, and you argued.
No, listen,
Moses,
I'm not finding any excuse for the chair. What I'm
Mm,
saying
mm.
that everybody dropped the ball. Everybody includes what? The chair of the committee. It
Well,
includes the outgoing administration. It includes the incoming administration.
mhm,
Everybody dropped the ball
mhm,
because what? The coordination was just terrible.
mhm.
Like you said, people needed to think that, my man, January is a very hot weather. On the 22nd, it's going to be extremely hot. How do we manage it? How do we assemble hypothetically 300 persons and we don't have what? Few cases of water. How do we assemble hypothetically 300 persons to the Capitol building when we have what? No functional bathroom. Instead, we take what? Urinals, urinals. Like you go into the park here. You bring in world leaders. Did anyone ever think about that? These are the kind of questions that the chair and the other people needed to be asking.
Yeah,
Look, this
yeah.
event is not for
And
people
that's
coming
where
from
the
the
chair
ghetto.
failed, and that's where the chair failed, and that's the point Volcano was making, and that's the point I agree with.
so let me come in here quick, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mentioned this. I said there are many venues in the country that could be used. First, the ministerial complex
Yes.
has a beautiful auditorium in there built to host events. That ministerial complex could have been used for the occasion. You block off the bypass, the Congo Town bypass, and you block off the Nigeria Horse Road intersection. You no more traffic. All traffic go by Somalia Drive and go wherever. And you use the ministerial complex. You have enough parking. People can park along the road from that point all the way Congotown bypass, all the way to RC Lawson on the hill, White Flower area. You water that place. The only place people will use a red light come to except you coming into the event, you can use red light. If you want to go to Gardnersville, you use SKD Boulevard. But from Charles Taylor, White Flower, all that place can be parking area for your dignitaries and all of that, right? And you use the ministerial complex, you use the compound of the ministerial complex for the people on the outside. All of your dignitaries will be in there. The program can be held in there. Everyone don't have to be in the photo. But that's what we're talking about here. When people are not thinkers, when people just want to take over responsibility and run with it and don't have no thought, those are things that common things to think about. You never assemble people and you don't have water. Water. If even it's on an air conditioner or it's in hell, you need water. You have many mineral water companies in the country. The former chairman of the Unity Party has his own water company. He could have produced water. You got Aqua Life. Or they could have shipped water from here. 2, 3 containers of water. How much money it
We
will
don't have
cost?
to. We don't have to do that.
I'm just giving you an example of some of the things because the same way people are saying, oh, we don't have to do that. And people won't need water. And somebody just decided that no water. But at least the bathrooms in the ministerial complex will have function. At least there would have been air conditioner. At least it would have been a beautiful, cozy atmosphere for your international guests. Could have done that. And you could have been able to control the situation. If you didn't use the what you call it
The
ministerial
party.
complex, you no ministerial complex, you could have used the Monrovia City Hall. You block off from the LU area, use LU as parking area. The same Capitol building area, all there could be parking area. You water area of any transportation from a river can go through Jalatown. Okay? Go through Jalatown. You water whole area off all the way to 5th Street. And you use that section. The Monrovia City Corporation, I believe Ellen government did a good renovation in the auditorium. There were many opportunities to utilize space.
Volcano.
Prepare the program for a crowd, for a crowd on the inside and a crowd on the outside.
Yep.
But you can just mix everybody together and just throw people there. All the men from all over the place just come. They're walking in, like you said. The
Yeah.
invitation was
Yeah.
not sophisticated. Anybody could use fake it. It was just a complete organized nonsense.
And not even cutting off Volcano. The initial plan, as the old man himself articulated when he came to America here, he was here. The initial plan was that the program will be held indoors at the Capitol building.
You see. Hold on, man. Hold on,
Yeah.
hold on.
Yeah.
I'm begging you,
Mhm.
Flomo Livingstone. You better stop that kind of thing. How you tell me say about law the inauguration must be held in Monrovia?
There's nothing
The other
called
the other one I was held as SKD. What I'm here so?
there's no such law.
No,
Flomo,
it must be held
Flo-
in Liberia. Put it that way.
Flomo can cite the law to
I
us.
can move. I can move my inauguration to Buchanan if I want
Yeah.
to.
Flomo can cite the law. We'll see it.
Go ahead.
Initially, according to the old man, the program will be held indoors, and then they will put television screens outside for people, the public, to generally see it. It will be on TV. Screens will be outside. Everything will see it because it's cool. They want to have it at the Capitol for the legislature to carry on its ceremony as happened yesterday. And then after that, that's the reason why he even gave $5,000 to each representative so they can hold inaugural programs and activities in their counties and in their districts, so people don't have to come all
Some
the
of the
way over.
people did not even get the money because the very
Yeah,
outgoing government did not make
yeah,
the money
did
available.
not get make the money available. But that was the idea. That was the plan. That plan faltered. And let me tell you, one American president died after his inauguration.
Hmm.
It was cold. It was in January. Very cold in the United States. It was 9 degrees. He went. He didn't have on an overcoat. He didn't have on a hat. He didn't have on gloves. President Harrison. 2 weeks after that, he had pneumonia. 2 weeks after that, he passed away. In 1985, I believe it was 7 degrees outside. Ronald Reagan inauguration. They had to scrap the plan of having the inauguration outdoors and they had it indoors. Why am I saying this? All what people planners could have done was to do a simple Google search and it would have told them how hot it was going to be outside. And they could have changed their plans and had it indoors somewhere at one of the venues you talk about or even at the Capitol building itself. They never did that. Nobody did that. Or if they wanted to have it outside, they could have made provision. If they had done weather, lookup, they could have made provision to say, let's get fans, let's get outdoor or air conditioners to be blowing people. Everybody over there was just waving themselves with a piece of paper. Nothing was blowing anybody. That's poor planning, and it
And,
falls on the inauguration committee
and,
and squarely on the inauguration committee.
and human being heat by itself is a
Exactly.
generation of heat.
Yes.
When you
And
all cry somewhere,
yeah, yeah.
I don't
And
care.
part of the reason why they were having it at the place there, the place got gates. You can't just enter. So the argument that we gave people invitation, but some people wouldn't have invitation, they all came in, the place was crowded. I can't buy that invitation. How did the people enter through the gates? They didn't have people there to look at invitation before people enter. I mean that means it was even a security risk. If people wouldn't have invitation, we're all going into crowded place. It's a massive failure. God forbid something terrible could have happened yesterday.
And interesting, let me make this point, then Moses will come back. Of course, what do you think? What do you think? The opposition now would say, oh, Unity Party is a failure.
Mhm.
Unity Party is a failure. We told you the old man was sick. He's sick. But he don't know baby, he don't know animal, he don't know old man, he don't know young boy. The gentleman, his soul rest in peace, who we heard passed away from Minnesota.
Mhm.
I don't think he was an old man,
No, I saw his picture. He's a
a
young man.
young guy.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that we have taken things for granted. And unfortunately, all of us here, the Miata family and many of the people on our inaugural committee ran from America to go there to just be, oh yeah, oh yeah, our time too. Everybody just rushing. They don't have the skill set. They don't even have the ability to foresight, ability to think forward thinkers. That inaugural money that all they wanted to jump on. Let me say, man, come on, you know, and start doing all kind of mango to the point now. Here we are. It's a disaster. It's embarrassing.
Yep.
George Weah is vindicated. He had every right to storm out of there and leave. His life was in danger. He could have said, listen, myself was suffering. And he left the country. He left the country. We missed out. Coming. We missed out on the golden opportunity to engage our guest. It's an embarrassment that the president is not in his inaugural address. Not that other people, it hasn't happened to them, but it shouldn't have been us to follow suit. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment that many of the international guests did not feel the beauty of Liberia. Some of those who came for the first time asked themselves, for real, is this the Liberia here from 1847? Let's be practically honest. If my anxiety level is high up
You
and
know
I'm
what?
going
Let me
to a
wear your
place,
camera.
if my anxiety level is high and I'm going to a place and meet this kind of circumstance and this kind of terrible event, it kills me. It kills my thinking about these people and the hospitality. Honestly. So we missed out on a lot of things and we started on the wrong foot. One thing that hit me hard, I saw something from an international media African paper that said President Boakai fainted. You see how the line now? The man suffered a heat stroke. He got a little disoriented. It's a difference in fainting and becoming a little disoriented. But they carry the stories. Some people felt that the old man fell to the ground and people had to kind of lift him up. All kinds of stuff going on. This is not good for us, and we shouldn't overlook it. We must do everything to correct these kinds of issues. Not just for an inauguration. We got State of the Union address. Everybody can go squeeze up in that place because they want to be in the picture. The State of the Union address, the president, his small delegate, and the member of the legislature, he presents to them. Why all his executive people got to go follow him again? Are we going to be running this country like that? If the president has his responsibility, let him do his job. Let me be to my office and doing my job. Except he dictates that I must come. At my operation, my executive director, if he needs my presence, he will let me know ahead of time. Are you available? I will need you on this. But everywhere he go, I running behind. No, I don't have to. I have a job to do. So we got to understand crowd control in many of the events in our country. We can't continue to just everybody just show up to something. Everybody just stay on the side. Everybody just there. What's the purpose of everybody being there? What do you bring to the table? What is your role in this occasion? Come here, Alphonso.
Go ahead, Alphonso. Come in later.
Okay. As you are mentioning crowd control, I'm reminded of the incident that happened in local town when that pastor was preaching and all those people died. Very similar with crowd control. The police knew the people were meeting there and the people were jumping, and police never went in to say, oh, no, we need to manage the crowd here. There was a stampede. People died. Right before that incident in Newtown, it happened where's this place? Moses Place. What BW
Jumper Village.
Kakata. People died, somebody died there as well. People just need to do their job and plan ahead of time. And that is our problem. We don't plan, we just think events should just happen. And then when we go, we put everything together, then it happens and it flops, and then we say, oh, so and so something happened. First of all, that inauguration, we should have known months, if not weeks ahead, what the temperature was going to be. It's on to something. As that incident was going on, I went on my phone and Google weather in Monrovia, Liberia. 93 degrees. Real fuel 104.
My brother, that's no small heat. To
That's
be
no
in a
small.
to be in a long sleeve country gown with
Yeah,
country hat on top of it, with
yeah,
bulletproof vest and
yeah,
everything else, then
yeah.
sash, and then you
Then
sash.
side. Then to add insult to injury, they were under a tarpaulin.
Oh yeah, the
No air
tarpaulin,
goes through that. The
yeah,
tarpaulin absorbs the heat and it
absorbs heat.
keeps it, and the air not flowing through. I mean, you could see people were struggling in there. That's poor
So,
And
planning.
I think they were depending on that ocean breeze. When the ocean breeze bringing hot air. I don't
Yes,
care what you say, hot air.
that poor planning. That's poor planning because those are things you should have taken into consideration. That's part of planning. How hard will it be? How many people do we invite? Do we have water? How long will the program be? Those basic things must be put in place. And not just cooking the food and giving and printing invitation and putting people down. No. And I hope going forward people will take these types of things seriously. We have professional planners. Just go and hire the people, let them do the job. That's somebody making money from their experience and from their education. Breaking chairs and putting them down, doing whatever is not the planning. I mean, as you said, Volcano and Moses said earlier, that could have been a terrible national disaster yesterday. I was so embarrassed. Heads of states getting up and just walking and just leaving the inauguration program. Everything in disarray. It,
Eh,
it's it, 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 it was a serious security risk as well. It posed a serious security risk. Security was discombobulated. They didn't
Yeah,
even know what to
yeah,
do.
you're right. People moving
Yeah,
helter skelterly.
yeah. Imagine 300 people running around, going so people running this place. A group of people rushing to Boakai. You don't even know who in the group that rushing to
Did
Boakai.
you notice we are signals so the men can start a car?
Look,
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, sir, the
I saw
signal.
that. Yeah, I saw this. Now
Yeah,
you
it's
have
on car.
everybody there. The fact of the matter is, we had them. They've said anybody could just rush to anybody right there at that point and just stop them or do whatever. You saw president of Sierra Leone got up, of course, knowing the situation in his country. He was one of the first group of put together and said, "Let me get out of the crowd before somebody can knock my head here or before the jury put me as a." You know, it was chaotic. So we need to do proper planning going forward. And I want to say the Boakai administration must hold some people accountable in that situation because it was a national embarrassment and disgrace.
Thank you. We just
so
if you just joined the issues room, is a minute after 8 here. Welcome to the show. We're here on our 216th broadcast tonight. We're analyzing the post inaugural event. Took place yesterday in Liberia. We ushered in President Joseph Yuma Boakai, who is the 26th president of the republic. This is day two of his leadership. Um, it was not all well, but for the most part, he was able to be sworn in. He took the oath of office. He was just about probably 85% to the end of his speech. And by the way, gentlemen, I tried reading that speech last night and I fell asleep. That speech, I know I left probably two more pages. I ended
let
up
me
like,
come in, guys.
yeah, I'm coming, you're coming. I ended up like the old man. I ended up like him. I didn't finish the speech. I fell asleep. The speech, we'll come to it. Because we got to come to the speech because it's the reason why we're having this conversation. Come in, Moses, quickly so we can talk about the speech before we move on.
Okay, quickly. I just want to disagree with a few things that you guys said. The first comment I will make, one of the papers, according to Volcano, reported that the old man fainted, and Volcano disagree. Faint is synonymous to exhaustion, extreme dizziness. When you become unconscious, it means you have fainted.
Was Parker
The
unconscious?
state, he was unconscious.
No, he wasn't.
Okay, let's
He was
for the
responsible.
point that he could
You're
not.
in healthy. I mean, healthy. I call ambulance all the time. He was not unconscious.
Was he not?
No,
Did he know where he was
he knew
at
where
that
he was.
particular moment that they had to move him?
No, he knew where he was. He was just trying to catch himself back.
Was he not fatigued to the point that he became dizzy?
But this is not fainting.
Dizzy is synonymous to fainting.
Don't start here tonight. The same way you say that a psychiatrist
Forget
is not a
it.
medical doctor.
Forget it. Forget it.
Don't do that, Moses.
This is medical. This is not mental health thing we're talking about. This
Yeah,
is
but I
medical.
was
But
saying,
I'm just
being
giving
lazy doesn't mean
there is a strong correlation between the two words, faint and exhaustion. When you become extremely dizzy, you become extremely weak, you become powerless, that people have to move you. That's a state of being that's being in a state of what, fainting. That's what happened to him yesterday. He was extremely exhausted as a result of that. Now, I heard you say earlier that Mr. Mr. M- Mr. Weird, he feels vindicated. Of course, Mr. Weir takes a lion's share of the blame for what happened yesterday. Yesterday was indeed a complete disaster from all angles. Like I said, George Weir and his people play a key role in what happened yesterday. Have funding been made available? Mr. Weir, until 12 o'clock, in fact, the entire day, his police, he was in charge of national security. The police had no control. The security had no control of the number of people that show up to that place. Mr. Weir and his security team endangered the safety of those people yesterday. He takes a lion's share of that. It is shameful. It is
You asked me
embarrassing.
why I said he felt vindicated. I said he felt vindicated because of the campaign message that Mr. Boakai is old, and that is why this happened to him. That was the uptake. It's all over the social media. You and I
Yeah,
know.
I mean, other people,
That's,
their interpretation, but the vindication, I'm looking at it from the standpoint
no, I'm just talking. That was where I was
yeah,
talking.
okay, now I see where you're coming from, but Mr. Weir and his people take a lion's share of the blame. Where was the police when people were trooping to the Capitol? Like you lay out, the, make sure the entire area is barricaded. That only invited guests are allowed to go up to that place. Have absolute crowd control. That did not happen yesterday. We have people coming from Soningway, Johnson Street, Jalatown. I mean, everybody made it up there. Even on the stage where they had the executives, where they had the world leaders, everybody jumping over one another. It was so shameful. It was so embarrassing that to
You want me
see
to, you want
world
me to
leaders.
add,
Eh?
you want me to add this piece quick?
Yeah, sure.
So here's the piece here. When we became president, it was the young people, the Zogos, everybody, everywhere, right?
Hmm.
Waga becomes president. That's also the old people, the Zoro, the interior Oman King, all the way from Zozo, from Finabondo town. From I mean, you saw the people and all everybody beating her song. When hold on, when Oman then coming with a thing, police then able to stand in front and say, okay, go inside. That's also Zozo
Okay, they
people.
should have some level control.
That's what I'm telling you. It's the kind of I mean, me have to talk my own. It's the kind of president that comes to power that determine how you control the crowd. They couldn't control the old man then coming with a sasa with
Melon.
country devil coming, all the people. But I mean, you know how many people came from the interior?
A lot of people show up.
That's what I'm saying. From all the town from Lofa, from Bombing, from Bonjama, from all over the place. Eh?
And
Some other people who never been to Monrovia, hey, our Baka, the president, I'm going to that program. I will be there.
and
Eh?
Volcano,
You want to stop the people? I'm begging my man.
Volcano, do you know what it means to tell you how shameful and embarrassing the event was, right? Do you know what it means? Let's say, for example, if President Nana from Ghana had told one of his security officers that, hey, I want to use the men's room, and someone takes him to a urinal. Do you know what it means? And they had a urinal planted all around the Capitol building. Do you know what it meant if Marabio had asked to use the men's room, or his wife, or even Mistress Clavia, or even Ome Joseph Boakai wife himself? I mean, his wife had asked to use the ladies' room. They were going to take her to a urinal.
Hi, well, Linda Greenfield.
Linda Greenfield, all those high profile people
The, Chi-
to
the
tell
Chinese, the
you
Chinese
to tell
Prime
you how
Minister,
the
Vice
event
President.
was poorly planned.
I mean, let's go to the speech back. I'll tell you now. Let's go to the speech. So,
Yeah.
Alfonso, have you read the speech?
I have
I
not.
I, I listened to him.
Oh no!
Um,
I took my time to read the speech,
I haven't gone through
and,
it because it's too lengthy.
my man, Mane Sumo said, what Mane Sumo? He said, hey man, what a man. He said, Mane Sumo say he attempted to read the speech twice, but he fell asleep too. Amen.
Or
It was too lengthy, yeah.
maybe
So
you're reading this speech at night. That's why you're falling asleep.
the speech was not a bad speech,
Mm.
but the speech writer did not do right by the president, and the president himself did not do right by himself. Waka is educated. He should know what he wants to talk about. He should know how to use the pen to draw a line through something that is given to him. It was not necessary for historical event in the speech. We have transitioned. The issue here, your rescue mission, your arrest plan, and what you're going to do was the crust for me. If I were delivering
Mm-hmm.
my speech or if I were writing my speech, that would have been my concern. My rescue mission, my arrest plan, and how we're going to implement, and the things that we're going to do within our first 100 days, and assure Liberian people and our international partners, these are the things that we're going to do. That will, of course, be 15 to 20 minutes of speech time rather, speaking, and I'll be done. But this speech writer here want to draw the divide. They want to talk about all the things that happen, Liberia's role in the international community. You don't have to remind the world. You don't have to. You want to talk about who became president from Barbados, from Sierra Leone, Nigeria, descent, all of those things were not necessary. You want to talk, I mean, it was just not necessary. It's like somebody writing a scenery portrait.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like for me who've read extensively.
Mm-hmm.
Scenery portrait. You drawing a historical event of Liberia so that people can know where this country is, what this country is about, and how this country came into being. Was that necessary? You think the world don't know? So that was my concern because I read the speech, some good parts, some good points. Yeah. The little part about Boakai talking about his story, coming, to a disabled mother and a father who was not around, and he was janitor at CWA, and he was, successful to become a student at the College of West Africa at the
And he
time.
became a student
Yeah,
leader as
a
well.
student leader and graduated from there and went on to college. That little piece is an assurance to every young child. But all the other things, man, it was not necessary. You don't even have to remind the people of the fratricidal 14-year civil war. Ellen Johnson dealt with that. He dealt with that for 12 years. Focus on the now and the future. That's my thought.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
is well put. One thing, a couple of things that I pick up from the speech, and these are things that people will started as of yesterday, looking out for. Mr. Barker pledged that the Liberia honor his leadership, and it's not going to be business as usual. So his statement implies that he's going to hold people accountable. There will be rule of law. Someone is going to be
That
in
is if he's
charge.
not thinking all the time.
Liberia is not going to be on autopilot because
Okay.
we saw Liberia being on autopilot for 6 years.
But he think that yesterday our autopilot was shot me. I think he's talking. I mean,
So,
it's true. Yeah. Okay.
so as of yesterday, people started looking out now. In the next 100 days, these are things that people will be looking out for. So I think what he said, his commitment to fight graft, is something that we should also commend him for. He said his government will fight graft. That's laudable. He's going to hold people accountable. They're going to be rule of law. All of these are laudable, commitments. Now the question is, will he? That's the question. So I think he made some good statement. But unfortunately, when he became exhausted to the point that he couldn't speak, that overshadowed everything he said. It ruined the entire program.
Yep.
It ruined the entire program. And what even further exacerbated it, to see George Weah leave the event straight to the airport. That's unfortunate.
So the country was on autopilot rather for that short moment. That's
For
why
six
everybody started finding their way. But the
Yeah.
truth here is, and Alfonso, I know you coming in quickly. The truth here is, we need to start to tailor things that we do for this president in his capacity, in his abilities, in his age. All right?
Mhm.
There's no pretense here. We wanted the wisdom, we wanted the statesmanship, We wanted to rescue the country from a playboy government, from a grenade government, from a small children government, from a credible government to a more respected government. So it's interesting for us to say to you, the Liberian people, that this president has to be rationed. What do I mean? Today, if you watch the NBA, for those of you who are sports enthusiasts, LeBron James, one of the most powerful, best basketball player to ever step on the court, is being likened to Michael Jordan because of his longevity. Today, what they do, they're rationing his playing time because he's 39 years old. He has had too many mileages on his body. His body is telling him, yes, you can do it. I mean, his mind, but his body is telling him you can't do it. So people around him have to put mechanisms in place to measure his time. We don't want to exhaust the president. The people around him should not overwhelm him and inundate him with all kinds of crap. Let the man be seen. If he can give us at least 4 hours a day of good, sustainable leadership, it's better than we are sitting down at Jamaica Road and enjoying himself and making music. These are the things that I want us to talk about now, going forward in the coming days. Alfonso.
You both make very important points. I have wished that really the day after the inauguration that we'll be talking about the new president's plan and agenda and appointments and all of that instead of talking about that real embarrassing tragic incident. So I'm glad that you all, both of you, are moving us into that direction. I hope we go past this very unfortunate situation and learn from it as a nation and as a people. Very quickly, the issue of this speech. Yes, I didn't even watch much of it. I had a work meeting on Zoom. When I got off, as soon as I tuned in, that's when I started hearing the woman stuttering. Right away, I turned it off because I was watching on my phone and started calling people that I know in Monrovia that I knew would be at the event. And I said, somebody needs to intervene. That thing that's happening over there, it's heat stroke that's about to happen. When the woman is stuttering and people are sitting and looking at him thinking that he will go through the speech, I started making calls and I started sending texts. So again, I didn't listen and I haven't gone back to listen to the entire speech. So I don't know. But talking to the people I was trying to contact and other people, a lot of people said exactly what you said, Volcano, that the speech was unnecessarily too long and included a lot of historical things that were not necessary. One of our presidents came from Sierra Leone. The other one came from Ghana. I mean Nigeria. We had
Nigeria, yeah.
17 African Americans that were president of Liberia. We
Mhm.
had this. What was
The
that?
vice president of China.
Yeah, was that a history lesson that we were teaching over there? And
Mhm.
as you correctly said, speech writing. Not everybody that writes can write speech. Not everybody that writes can write speech. One of the courses I did at Rutgers University, the guy who was teaching the course also was a speech writer and a political advisor to Ronald Reagan. And he said this. He said it took them a week to frame a phrase in Ronald Reagan's speech about the fall of the Berlin Wall. And that phrase, according to him, was Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall.
No,
He
these
said the broad,
walls.
yeah, he said the broad speech, the broad English professors, the broad politicians, the broad military people, the broad psychologists to go over the speech, especially that particular phrase. Initially, when the speech writer wrote it, it was Mr. Gorbachev tear that wall down. The military people and the other professional political leaders, the international affairs people said no, it shouldn't be Mr. Gorbachev tear that wall down. The English professors in the room said you have to use. The military people said when the president of the United States speaks, he must speak with force and power. The English people said, there, if that is the case, then tear the wall down. It doesn't convey the power of the President of the United States. They rephrase that sentence to put all the action words together so it can go with the force that was desired. Mr. Gorbachev, tear, it comes with force. Down, it comes with force. Mr. Gorbachev, instead of saying Mr. Gorbachev, tear that wall down,
It's a
it says
tear down.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. I'm saying this to make a point that both of you made. Speech writing is not just anybody who can write something. You speech is prose. It's like, I mean, it's poetry. It's like you singing. You don't go through all the historical thing for
I
that.
like this point you made because let's capture something from the We Are speech.
Yeah,
Capture something from the Ellen's speech.
yeah,
In speech writing or in writing anything that you want to convey, you must
yeah.
utilize a catchphrase
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
outside of everything, people can walk away with the
Exactly.
catchphrase.
Exactly.
In the We Are speech, Liberians, he said to Liberians, you will not be spectators in your
Spectators.
own economy.
Yeah.
That's the catchphrase in everything that we have said. Totally.
Yep.
When Johnson came and said corruption will be what? Public enemy
Any man
number
number
one.
one.
That was the catchphrase.
Yeah.
What is the catchphrase in Joseph Boakai's speech? Moses just established one. There
Yeah.
will not be business as usual.
Yeah.
Maybe there are other catchphrases. I need to
Yeah.
read the speech again.
Mhm.
But the point you're making here, Gorbachev tear down these walls, is powerful.
Yeah.
You will not be spectators in your own economy. It's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
You corruption will be public enemy number one. It's powerful.
Yeah.
It will not be business as usual. It's powerful because we
No,
know
we are here for a change.
yeah,
Yeah.
we know what happened in the last 6 years. It's
Mm-hmm.
been business as usual.
Yeah.
So that's the essence of writing speech. Don't
Mhm.
come give us historical
Yeah.
data. Stand a 79-year-old man in a hot sun, the man, and the public can read. He can read. He did
No,
it
I mean he's very eloquent.
very eloquent.
Eloquent
I,
as compared to George Weah.
I do this kind of stuff, reading and all the time from broadcast days and all of that. I was fatigued and I fell asleep on the speech.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
How much
very
more to him?
eloquent. Yeah.
No
You know?
speech. No real speech should go more than 25 minutes. 20, 25
And
minutes. You do speech writing, they tell you that. You start boring your people, you start losing your audience.
I mean too
It gets to
lengthy.
the
Yeah.
point, as you were saying, Volcano, your catchphrases, people forget them and just walk away. So you cannot go. What the thing Fidel Castro then used to do, stand up for 4 hours, is nonsense. Nobody does that anymore. The best speech I listened to, the best speech I've ever listened to, not best in terms of what he was saying, but best in its
Time
brevity,
management.
in its brevity, the way it was brief, the way it was arranged, and the point was made in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He was the president of the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he was a graduation speaker at the Pittsburgh Community College. That guy spoke for maybe 10 minutes. He talked briefly about his life story, how he struggled, he worked, he was working on the pools in Pittsburgh, pulling wires and things and going to school. Then Bill Clinton came to town and was running for president. He volunteered on the Bill Clinton presidential campaign. He drove Bill Clinton around. Bill Clinton went to Pittsburgh a second time. He drove. Bill Clinton won the presidency. He came to work in the White House, but he had not graduated. Before Bill Clinton let to get his scholarship, he went to Harvard. He graduated, and he came back. And the message left with the kids was, "If I can make it, you can make it." I also came to this community college. That's why I attended. Today, I graduated from Harvard. Today, I'm president of the Pittsburgh Penguins. If you work hard and you put your
You can
mind
get
to
it.
it, you can make it. Congratulations, class of so and so. Have a fine day. That's the message. 10 minutes, the main speech was done. That's one of the best speeches I've listened to in the whole world. Who writes 2 hour, 3 hour speeches nowadays?
I mean, you go to the United Nations, most of you coming quick. You go to the United Nations, cut to the chase.
Yep.
That's my style. I call it cut to the chase. If you come to sit with me to have a conversation, don't go give me historical facts. Just come tell me what. I mean, nobody have the time now.
No.
The world is moving so fast that the small things that I want to know quick, I want to know it. Don't get not nobody reading encyclopedia. I got all of them here. I won't go carry. I mean,
No more Encyclopedia Britannica
hold on, what
or
is this?
Encyclopedia Americana. Yeah.
You see it? I got
What
from
in London, my man?
I got from A to Z here, my man. I was keeping it as a souvenir, but I think it's time for it to go.
You gotta take that thing to the Goodwill, my man.
I came to club the old studio here. But the point is that people need to become abbreviated now.
Yeah.
Just hit to the chase. You know, presidents should not always say they're making speeches. Just catch some catchphrases, leave it with the people, and move on. That's all.
Yeah, and another
I hope
another
that State of the Union address he coming with. I think they say some Monday from now, 1 or 2 Monday or next week.
Monday. It's Monday of next week.
That man who read in that speech, President Boakai, please, if you want me help, I will help. I beg you, just send a speech to me.
Many
I
people
will,
are working very hard right now
no, no,
to get that thing
seriously.
to get it together. Uh,
They book is here. Don't. It's not necessary. You can't give no kind of long speech here. You know, yeah, just tell the people what you
I
got
think the
for them.
good thing about it is that it's going to be indoor. Maybe they will be able to rectify some of the errors that they made. So they will do it indoor. Maybe
Any man did new sanitation. They put pipe on
Yeah.
the wall.
on the wall.
Yeah.
Would be
Maybe
there.
they will
And
do it
and
indoor.
one thing real
Uh,
quick.
Maybe they
One
have gotten some air conditioners now.
Yeah, I hope they have air conditioning in there.
Yeah,
But
I'm trying to do some work on that.
okay.
You know, but something I would like to leave with everyone tonight is that Mr. Barker said he's president for all Liberians. That's another catchphrase.
We
Yeah.
heard that all the time, so it's not a catchphrase for.
Well, that was part of his speech
I
yesterday.
understand. Every
Yeah.
president said it on there
Yeah.
together and start dividing the cola.
He's not going to be the divisive. But anyway, Mr. King, he said he was president for all
All
Liberians.
Liberians, I want to see, my man.
But the
Listen,
way he
all of these people.
demonstrated, it shows that he was more Liberian for Seditions as compared to the people of Liberia. And you can even tell the way he conducted himself a few days.
Samuel Doe said it.
Okay.
For as long as I grew up to know myself, Charles Taylor said it. Ellen said it. We have said it, and Baga says it. And if I run 2029, I will say the same thing. But it depends on how I divide the color. And so I
Yeah.
thought I want catchphrase. It's a reverberated phrase.
So,
That's
so
how I
he,
look at it.
he's not a president for only UP partisans. He's a president for all Liberians. Let's hold him to that. Because it's easier said than done. When we see people start asking, "Oh man, you're not one of us," then something is not right. You know. But
Why you doing this, Moses? Quickly, why you talking?
yeah,
I wanted to just do something quick,
go ahead.
just to share some low, photos on some of the things that kind of like took place at the event.
Oh,
So
there is after.
yeah, so courtesy to Spoon TV, I called this from the site. Our sister and our brother and our friend, in media,
Respond.
yeah, media.
That is today's event.
Yeah, yeah, I'm saying I'm just grabbing some
Yeah,
pictures.
you know.
So the Oma,
So
I don't know the Oma is still in the country, but
yeah,
she
you
met
met
with him.
with him
I
today.
think this is at his residence. I know they did
Yes.
renovation work and they created the little
Mhm.
office section and a little conference room because a lot of time they probably may not be able to get to the mansion. So he may
I
just
mean, no, don't prove the seditions right
no, no,
now.
no. I said not be able to get to the mansion. No, no, no. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Who don't want to work from home today? This is the norm now. This is the new norm. People are working remotely. People are working from home. I don't have
Yeah, but
problem with
we expect
everyone
that
working
he will
from
be
home.
spending at least, 4 or 5 hours at his office on a consistent basis.
Oh, man.
That's the official
Every
seat.
man gave me every man gave me 4 hours even at home with substantial results. I would take it.
Now we don't want people turning his residence to the executive mansion. You allow that to happen now, it's gonna be like Jamaica, where everybody win. You know, you don't want a man in pajamas all day in your house. You want him to do the people's job. You see that?
But the man started on day one from your house now. So what we do now? Is this a normal respect? I'm just saying that I don't care where he works from. I just want substantive results. If he can
Okay.
give me 4 good
Yeah.
hours to 5 hours of his day, we'll ration his time. We want results. Alfonso, do you agree?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to sit in the mansion. I don't even know what the condition of the
Of the
mansion is.
mansion. Everybody's scared of that mansion, my man.
Like, was it renovated? Is it even good? Was
They said
Yeah,
where
it's,
it's
it's,
renovated, finished.
it's a renovation.
Where
They
was
completed the renovation.
but Where was working from foreign ministry, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
and he
worked.
decided to
He
go to
worked
the
with the foreign
mansion, but I
ministry
don't know
until
what
they
happened
completed
again.
the mansion.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So I think this is the extension they put
to his
Oh,
house.
residence.
Yeah, they did some serious renovation.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of work has been done. Now,
so
we
part
see
of the
all this.
reason why the U.S.
Is this
president,
Charles Nether sitting over there?
No, that's not Charles Nutter.
Oh,
This guy I know his face, but next to him is Jeremiah Kuhn. But I know this guy, but he's not coming to me.
okay. Yeah, a lot of things
Hey,
happening. And
hold on, man. They Johnny man think he can just post something in the paper when I read. He think the paper, that paper will check that beat tonight. Get away. He will
hey,
tell you,
man,
so we'll get back to
man,
you later.
you said, oh no, you're going to put your signature there like George Weah.
Yeah. Pape say, in fact, you see the paper pen stay in his pocket. Oh.
But I have to read, understand, my man.
Pape pen, Pape rush to take out his pen. Oh, I mean, we are just something. Oh. The pape pen stay in his pocket. Pape say, I
Yeah,
will
they
get
say.
back to you tomorrow or in 2 weeks. You hear from our state minister. Let me
Yeah,
check this thing out. Japanese man said, no sound right now. He said, no, I'm not sounding.
yeah, he said, no. He said, man, what is this? Yo, we are over there, like, just bring it, the guy that just put the S.
Oh,
That
yeah,
here,
man, I tell him,
President
okay, well, just
Nana.
begin. Said you will already review the whole thing, everything correct. So,
Yeah. It's a cheap, right? Yeah, where the S is.
yeah.
Gonna get a contract 25 million, my man, and then it just says, yeah, where the S is. Then the board and bring $5 million. You say, oh,
But
Chiba,
you know
oh,
something here, right? If you
yeah.
look at this picture, it tells you exactly that the puppet here will read everything to a greater extent. Because the puppet did not anxiously take a pen from his pocket.
So, man, who wasn't reading everything?
Eh?
Who wasn't reading everything?
I know that's me. I'm trouble to me. I want to go country is this though. We'll go to it. But the Japanese man forcing the puppet, he can join the puppet
Yeah. He
to
said,
do
oh,
something. The puppet say, no,
he
hold
said,
on.
Mr. Boakai, this is good. He said, just a moment. The guy standing out, my man, standing there, somebody who is so impatient, my man. So
No,
what
no,
the
no,
man taking so long?
that the confusing posture. He
Yeah.
want to assure the man that everything is right. So he's standing and leaning over. But the papa said, no, something here I'm not understanding here.
Give me a
Hold on,
break.
let me check the BR.
Yeah. Do you have, I mean, let's bring some side extraction from what happened yesterday. Do you have this guy dress code? DJ Blue, Representative 17?
Oh, DJ Blue.
Yeah, the Met dress code is out there. He was dressed almost like Kimaya.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I he too.
yeah. I mean that photo has been trending on social media a lot.
I saw.
You know,
Sandro Mo posted, I don't know if Sandro Mo posted and said he too almost collapsed. It was an EPS officer that assisted him.
what the DJ Blue
No, Sandro Mo.
or Salomo almost collapsed, eh?
Yeah.
I mean
I saw
that play
I
was
saw on
overcrowded,
I
my
saw
man.
on Facebook. Yeah.
The play was overcrowded.
It was too hot. It was just too
It was
hot.
too hot. So many things happened, my man.
Yeah. It
You
was
know,
too hot.
can you imagine, my man? World leaders using Uranus.
They're taking the paper, the program sheet that's all be looking in and fanning
Yeah, and
themselves.
defending
Oh, shit.
themselves.
You should know right away.
Yeah,
Somebody should
yeah.
I dare run downtown and go to one of those stores and bring fans and put them there. So simple.
But man, and maybe that's something that will make you want to talk about a little bit before we leave from here. George Weah said he leaving over $200 million with the incoming administration, right?
Mhm.
And when he took over, he said he made $40 million in the government's account. Now, gentlemen, let's be rational here as human beings. How can Mr. Weah tell Liberians in the right mind that he leaving the country?
Is this the mail office you're talking about?
Oh yeah, 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 DJ.
The man decided to wear gray and black in the heat.
Yeah.
Those are
And the
heat,
man went like,
heat
"What this
absorbing
jokey or
colors.
go wearing your sneakers, my man."
Heat absorbing colors.
Yeah. The ball was in our heat, my man. With two cell phones,
One for a
DJ Blue,
one for a DJ contract.
the other one for the Capitol building.
Yeah, he's a,
I think it was also low for a Merky Maya.
No, but there's a photo on Facebook where they have them side by
The
side.
both of them together.
Me and Max Rockman.
He ain't Merky Maya.
Oh,
But Volcano can find come here.
Man,
man,
TJ Blue. I wanna this the representation district 17 will get my people.
but there was a comment here from him. Let me see if I can find the comment.
TJ Blue.
He said the people of district number 17 did not elect me based on my dress code, but rather my passion and capacity to bring development and sustainable deliverables to the district, including electricity and roads development.
DJ
In the
just gave us
meantime,
few
hold on now,
months we know.
Moses. In the meantime, we are looking for a few qualified residents to join our district broadcast entity as news auditor, reporters, news presenters, etc. Attractive compensation. So he has his hot
Yeah, Hot
FM
FM, yeah.
and whatever. So now the man's giving job right
Eh,
away.
Man is giving jobs out to people. But how much is he gonna be paying monthly?
So
$100?
the man said contract attractive compensation.
Yeah, as per Liberian definition, that can be $100 or so or 150.
Yeah, as long as it's attractive in my bureau, that's it. That's why not.
Yeah.
So
They're not
come back
gonna
to
pay
the
you
story.
You
American.
see, almost say big trouser took a flight.
Uh,
Let me see, man. I'm looking for Max Rockman inauguration.
Yeah, I think while you guys do that, let me look for. I think somebody had Kimaya. Let me see if I can send it to Volcano.
but no, I can find him, man. But
You can find it.
Kimaya was Kimaya also uh
No, that he period dressing the
oh,
guy put there.
the old one. Hey,
Yeah, the 2017 thing. That what the guy put there with him. Oh, man, Jukuju. Lord Jesus.
I can't say, but yeah, Max Rockman.
hold on, I'll
Deep,
find it. Hold on.
I see it right. Deep Max
Oh, have
Rockman.
you seen it?
Yeah, I'm looking
Send
at
it to
it.
Volcano.
But no, I come here. I'll find it. So you were talking about the so-called money that we are saying leaving the government.
Yeah, yeah. So we are said his administration left over $200 million in the coffers. And when he came, he said he made $40 million. So as per his definition, uh he's leaving Liberia on a good footing. And let's do some thinking here, gentlemen. If Mr. Weir had $2 million stuck up in the government's account,
200 now. See, not 2 million. 200 is
I mean, yeah, 200 million, yeah, 200 million in the cover. Why the government didn't pay civil servants for the month of December? Why did why did why did the government not pay of foreign service employees for the past months. Why? Hmm?
I
If
mean,
they may have seen that or they have so much money,
that
why did the
so,
$600,000 check that they made to the inaugural committee bounced?
so Moses is a simple answer.
Hmm.
Waka needs to be transparent with the Liberian people
Hmm.
and make sure that he tells the Liberian people
How
exactly
much they made? Yeah,
based
I
on the
agree.
audit, right?
Yeah.
So we can say all he wants to say. His government can say all they want to say, but it is left with what Joe Burger tells the Liberian people. And if his mantra in this new dispensation is to fight corruption at every level, then he has to begin with transparency. Tell the
Absolutely.
people, tell the world, this is what this man said he presented or left in the covers, but here's the presentation based on forensic audit, not
Hmm.
just internally, but externally.
Hmm.
That will solve the problem.
Of course, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I'm not even going to
The
argue that. I'm
UP.
not even going to justify. I'm not even going. It is left with Joseph Boakai to do an internal, external forensic audit
Mhm.
of the weird government claim of leaving $200 million in the budget and all of the things that he has inherited in terms of civil servants not being paid, ambassadors and ambassadorial staffs across the world.
Not being paid for
Hey,
months.
you understand me? All of these things he needs to speak up.
Yes,
You don't
some.
want it to come back again to say, oh, you know what? That the earlier lead the thing. We can't keep leaving this thing. This thing is existential. This thing is has loomed over time. It locked in the corridor of evil and deceit, and it has not helped our country and the people. We can always keep leaving this thing. This thing must die. This thing must be buried. This thing has to be obliterated, taken away from our everyday living. This thing. Y'all leave this thing. We must kill that phrase and show action that we want to work going forward. I said it the other day, how much more left for us on this earth? And if we can see good come out of our country, we would die rolling in our graves and regretting our time here for all we've done to help see good for our country. And the only thing we can do, because we don't have the mantra of power, we're not in the position. I'm sure that if I were in the position, I would think differently. I would do things differently. Because I can't come and be the same experiment time and time immemorial.
Mhm.
But Liberia is a complex society. It's a difficult place to fight, to do anything. You and I go here. I mean, leave from here. We go there. They want to us to conform to the negatives. They want to tell us your America thing. Don't bring it here. But we can't continue to operate in this modus operandi. We must make the difference. We must make the change. So y'all lead a thing. We can't keep leaving this thing. This thing has killed us since 1847. We killed 13 men on the pole for this thing. Samuel Doe came to power. He did one thing. They call his ear up for this thing. Ellen Johnson King, she did 12 years. She blamed herself and her children for stealing the Liberian people money. She said, I take blame. Y'all, they left that thing. We are come now. He did his own and he packed his bag. He walking away. The man that stole away or he leaving slowly, but we're taking it for a joke. That man ain't coming back.
Man, finna waving bye bye to Liberia, man.
So we keep leaving the thing. I leave it with you.
No, I mean you're absolutely right. Uh, uh, we hope that the new administration will hit the ground running because the people have to know, and they should come clean on everything that Mr. Weir and his people are saying. If they say they left you with money, you come and tell the people how much they left you with, and then come and disclaim, what you are saying. You see?
And I made this very point last week in our show. Definitely, you are on point. The incoming administration must tell the Liberian people not just the monies, but the entire state of the nation. So if you went to public work ministry, for example, and they gave you turnover notes to come,
Oh,
that Maxwell over there.
let me for the thing. Oh.
Yeah, they Maxwell come here.
You see, look at Maxwell. You see that DJ Blue and Maxwell brought out here yesterday for the people.
Yeah, but I think DJ was better than Maxwell. Damn, what
They had
Maxwell?
a quail.
Yeah,
I'll call that the comforter.
who sold the man Clover, man? Damn,
Maxwell, my man.
they killed Maxwell. Big Maxwell come here.
But you know who's standing sign? They put a lot of wasting tapel.
Look at Maxwell, my man.
That's what amount of clothes there.
But look at the grass, they say it's so long until folding in several places.
This man looking like sick now, man.
That's also big like hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maxwell, my man. And then he met DJ Blue.
So this is what's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Maxwell Kimaya is leaving the fashion scene, right?
Mhm.
And man, DJ Blue inheriting it because in the coming days, in fact, Maxwell is no more foreign minister, right?
No, he's no longer foreign minister
So,
as of yesterday, 12 o'clock.
so man, let leave the money business. Let's talk quickly about the probably first five appointments. We were also looking forward to the other appointments today.
Yeah.
The way the public rationing the appointment it looked like he didn't want to give no false hope. He didn't want to put somebody that then he said, I regret it. I can't hold him back. But he want to take his time when he needed five. So he will be naming five until the first 100 days.
No, I think he what they are done
But
or what
according
they
to
are doing now is
according
to
to
start with the
critical five,
key. The key.
coming on, that was in the critical fives.
Yes.
Okay. But we know if he send out another critical five to deal.
It could be that another list is out. Who knows? So while you do that, let me check on something. Yeah, but Sylvester, I think that his name, right? Sylvester Grisby,
Yeah.
Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. Someone said that Minister Grisby and the president have a long-standing relationship.
Best friends.
Yeah, and he's also a career diplomat. You know, I heard that name many times when he was at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. You know, he's a seasoned administrator in the public sector. The Minister of Finance, Mr. What's the guy name? Boima Kamara. He's also a guy with a wealth of experience. He's former deputy governor at the central bank before he became Minister of Finance. He came to the United States. He honed his skills, so he has a good understanding of managing the economy of Liberia. I think he also has some training in development as well, finance and development, something like that.
But
So,
stop there since you catch that point.
mhm.
I don't know if things have changed. Anytime you merge a ministry, and I think this was the mistake by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, the Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs was an institution all by itself. It dealt a lot with the nonprofit organizations because I used to cover a lot of nonprofit work in the country. And Planning Ministry was a direct partner to our nonprofit international investors in the country. Okay, partners put in philanthropists and all of that. So I had the opportunity to work directly with Madam Amelia Ward at the time she was minister of that government institution. Not a bad idea to merge them. But what are the deputy functions at the Ministry of Finance? And Alphonso was charming, you were charming, but from my perspective, I don't think that there's any deputy minister for development planning at the Ministry of Finance. You can't kill one ministry totally and you don't put at least a deputy to be a part of that new ministry. So you got deputy minister for the budget, you got deputy minister for revenue and tax collection, you got deputy minister of administration. Do you have a deputy minister for planning and economic planning and development? I don't think so. Gentlemen, what do you think? Alfonso?
So I don't know. I believe they do, but I
I don't
can't.
think they do.
Yeah, I do not know. So I really can speak to that, but I can look it up, and I can definitely look it up. But you're right. You make an important point. I mean, whether they do or not, the fact is that they should have a development portfolio because that's precisely what the name suggests:
Yeah.
finance and development
Mhm.
plan.
Yes,
So
yes.
so if you
They
took
got
if
their
you took
deputy
the
minister for that.
so if you took the ministerial position away and
Mm,
you decide to merge the agencies or the institutions, then the deputy post you have some kind of structure representing that institution that you merged.
yeah.
Then you take key civil servants from the old planning ministry and bring them in that ministry to work on that side of economic and development planning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you don't just kill one ministry totally and you take the responsibility of putting somebody here who has financial background
Mhm.
and they don't understand the economics and development planning on the other hand. So everything that's coming is Samuel Toure. All he want to do a phony budget, put
So
money inside, and that's it.
so they actually do. They do.
Okay.
I'm on their website.
Okay.
They have the minister, the office of the minister. They have deputy for fiscal affairs, which of course is the money. And they have uh, economic management and economic management. Deputy for economic management. They have deputy for budget and development planning.
Yeah.
They have deputy for administration. So they do have a development planning portfolio
Minister.
deputy. They
Yeah.
have a deputy for development planning. Yeah. So they do have a deputy. So the reason they did the merger, which was the trend, is that Ministry of Planning and Economic Affairs was considering just pure economics and planning programs without that were not in sync with the budget of the country. So, in order to make sure that the development was planned in accordance with the financial strength of
The economy.
the economy of the country, decided to merge them. And that was the trend around the world. So you merge them and then you make sure that as you are planning stuff, it should be in line with your financial portfolio, where you stand, and those kinds of things. That's why they merge it, but it do have a deputy for economic planning.
Okay.
It's important.
So and I've had a thought, but I didn't have the time.
Yeah, I mean,
So you're right.
it's
So you're
good.
right. Whether it
It's
was
good.
there, you
It's
made
very
the important
important
point that
to
it
have a
should be
deputy for development.
there.
So
Yeah.
And
continuing
then,
your lane. So now we understand that
yeah, so
our
Obama
man
Kamara,
Obama doesn't have to have a balance in the two fears at the
No.
no,
same
he has someone who helping.
time.
And then our man Kofi Woods was named as national security advisor. And I've been hearing a lot of people saying that Kofi doesn't have any orientation when it comes to national security. Uh, there are people who believe that anyone occupying that position must have come from the security sector. What are your thoughts, guys?
So here are my thoughts. My thoughts are that security, we whoever is saying that is constricting what security actually means. Security a very broad sphere. Uh, for example, when you have young people who don't have jobs, unemployment is a national security issue. Because what happens is when you have a huge unemployment in the country, a number of things happen. The young people gravitate towards drugs, they gravitate towards crime. They can easily be manipulated by criminal politicians and enterprises, like we saw in 1980. And we're giving arms and giving guns, and they'll use the guns around. So unemployment is a national security problem. I'm sure you all have heard the phrase food security. Food security is also a national security problem. When you don't have food security in your country, many people don't have food to eat, access to healthcare, those kinds of things, it poses a national security risk. What is national security? When the people in the country, when the citizens of the country are unhappy, when the citizens, they can revolt, they can take action. Somebody getting gone, they go to start doing stuff, or they just start demonstrating in the street, breaking things, or turn to criminals. That's a national security concern. So I think we need to broaden our understanding of what national security really is. Now, having said so, let's even look at national security. Liberia has a history of our military being used to suppress people, to kill people, of our intelligence agencies being used by governments to suppress and kill people. Having a human rights person involved to to help to direct and redirect the course of our military and our security institutions is very critical in building a new Liberia. That person doesn't have to have had a gun before and put it on their back. That person didn't have to be in intelligence. But what Liberia needs is imbuing our security structures and institutions with the law, to respect the law and follow human rights principles and values. That's what our
Alfonso,
security institutions need. And I believe Mr. Roos brings that to the table.
Alfonso, you said something so profound,
Yeah.
and I didn't think it. And thank you so much, and I applaud you because Kofi Woods will not sit at the table and everybody military mindset ready to go invade, ready to go carry on a genocide, ready to go kill a
Mhm.
special kind of people or group
Mhm.
of people and sit there and say, yes, let's allow it. He will be the one to draw the line. He will be the one to give the intended consequences and the unintended consequences and say this is wrong and I will advise the president against this because he comes from a neutral background. He will understand it from the perspective, like you said. In that case, so we wouldn't have these extrajudicial killings. We wouldn't have people, trying to carry on lies and it, so I think Kofi Wood, who has advocated for 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 human rights over the years, who understands what it means to have a civil society under a civilian government and run by a civilian executive, will know how to direct the security apparatuses in the country and guide them against anything that will create any kind of setback for the government sitting and the people of that country. And people who don't understand it should begin to appreciate the intelligence of Mr. Boakai and being able to really uh, uh, put Kofi in that position.
Well, and someone who supports the view that uh, someone with a background in national security, someone from the security sector should have been given the opportunity, will also argue that being a trained security personnel, it doesn't necessarily mean whenever you go to advise the president, you're going to be advising the president on situations that will create more tension in the country, even though we had similar situation in the past. But people who hold a view that that you might have some understanding of what constitutes a national security threat because you have the orientation, you that is where you were school. They think that look, what they are looking at now, this is something that we need to address because if we don't do that, we run the risk of running into this problem. So your perception about security issues will be more broader as compared to Samuel Kofi Woods. Mr. Woods is a very good lawyer. He's a very good human rights advocate. But when he speaks on security issue, he's going to be speaking on the surface. He's not going to be speaking from the standpoint um, of of a security guru, someone who was school, someone who practice, someone who knows what constitutes a national security threat. So this is what other people are looking at too.
So, Moses,
I'm
so
not
my
saying
question to
that.
so
um,
I will ask a question, Moses, and maybe sorry, I'm not stopping you. Maybe let me ask
Sure.
a question. So I will ask a question, and the question I will ask of those people is, what is their understanding of national security? That
Say
would be
that
my
again.
question to them. What is their understanding of national security? What do they see national security as? That would be my question to them.
Well, someone may say when we speak of national security,
Mhm.
we're talking about the well-being of the country,
Okay.
ensuring that the country uh, is 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 in harmony with itself.
Okay.
There's
And
rule
then,
of
but,
law.
but also any one layer of
Mhm.
this harmony in the country doesn't have to be external threat. It can be internal
Mm,
threat.
That's what I'm saying.
It can be
Like,
any kind of threat
mhm.
that can lead the country down the downward spiral.
Yeah.
You telling me that Moses Cindy is not aware of self-preservation? Are you telling me that Samuel Kofi Woods doesn't understand self-preservation? So security doesn't mean that you must hold a gun or you must have been in the military or the police science. I can run the police force. I can because I understand what's happening with the situation in the country. The semblance of peace, the semblance of following the rule of law. I can run the police force. I'm telling you this. I can run the police force. I don't need a criminal justice background to run the police force in Liberia. I would be better police director than any of those guys who claim to be security minded because I know
And
what it means.
yeah, and
They
if I
set
may,
for
and,
you.
and if I may add, Volcano, look, Moses, you told us one of the critical points that President Boakai made in his inauguration speech yesterday. It will not be business as usual. We will turn the country around. We will bring respect for human rights and rule of law. Go back to the history of Liberia, especially Liberia's security sector. The people who went and did all of these military trainings and did all of that were running the military and the security forces, unfortunately, they used the security forces and the military against the people. They violated people's rights. The military invaded places and beat people up and killed people. They have military training. They have military training. They were trained. They went to all the training camps, but they were still abused. The problem in Liberia, as President Boakai sees it, is not the lack of training in our military, it's not the lack of training in our police forces and in our intelligence, is the inability or the unwillingness to implement the values of respect for human rights and the rule of law. Our military forces, our security forces were used by previous administrations to abuse people. Therefore, he thought it wise to put somebody in there.
Pause your thought. Let me read what Ahmad Freeman, who has military background, said military advisors can either be civilians or military personnel, depending on the context in which the term is used. In some cases, military advisors are indeed civilians who provide expertise and advice to military organizations and governments. These civilians may possess specialized knowledge in areas such as strategy, logistic, technology, or international affairs, and they offer their insights to military leaders. So, no, he doesn't have to be a military personnel.
Absolutely. And somebody who is trained in human rights law, international human rights law, being your military advisor. It's extremely critical in terms of
So your
getting
national security advisor.
a national security advisor. It's extremely important in terms of getting your security forces in line.
And you know what? You know the positive in this?
Yeah,
Just like he just qualified it to say
yeah,
military advisor, you have military advisor on the Joint Security Committee. You have
yeah,
a police science advisor on the Joint Security Committee. You have immigration person on the Joint Security Committee.
yeah,
This civilian guy is what we consider the buffer.
yeah.
He is like the guy sitting in the middle, and all the tentacles are blinking at him. But
Hmm.
he's coming from a place where he's
Yeah.
advising on issues contrary to what they're thinking.
Hmm.
I'm not. I think the word contrary is a little,
Yeah, no, contrary, but
but from
from
a
a detached, well, there's a word,
yeah,
not from a even
intrusive,
non-interested,
non-intrusive, and
non-partisan point of view to say,
non-condescending. Put it that
yeah,
way,
yeah.
non-condescending to your expertise. I'm not disparaging your expertise. I'm telling you what you're saying is right. But from this perspective, he's like the what do you call the is it the the unifier, or the
Mm-hmm,
one that bringing all of these forces together,
mm-hmm,
and bring
mm-hmm,
one thing to the table and say this is the way to go, and let the president make that decision. Because if the military or national security advisor does not make the decision, he advises, the committee comes together, they meet on all the issues that are
mm-hmm,
to be discussed, and he brings that dossier to the president, just
mm-hmm.
like you see JMB dealing with a Japanese man. You'll be dealing with Kofi Woods. Let me bring out. I let that picture, man.
Yeah. And one last point I want to make on that. Liberia has never ever faced an external security threat. And what I mean by that is Liberia has never been invaded by any outside country. All of our troubles we have had came from within. Even though it was Liberians, even though the war came, but it was Liberians that brought the war from outside. That makes it really critical for us to focus on the respect of rights and democracy and the rule of law in the country, because once you do that, you take away all of those threats. Boakai must have listened to all of the reports that were going, the human rights reports from the State Department, the report from the European Union, and all of those things, and the polling that was done in November by Gallup right before the runoff election. They said security in the country, people snatching people things, crime, and all of that. There are two key themes that Liberians voted for: the insecurity in the country,
Armed robbery.
the armed robbery. They say you can't even walk after 6, after dawn, you dark, you can't even walk by yourself. Therefore, you can't send it. That was one of the things when Gallup did the polling, that's one of the things that Liberian people pointed to. They also pointed to lack of trust in the security forces, in the police. I think Boakai must have read those reports and said we have to instill trust in our security forces so our citizens can respect and have confidence in them.
But you know another thing I want to add you.
And how best to do it but to put a human rights person over
But I wanted the human rights, the legal mind too,
the legal
because
mind.
there are things you would do that the law would not support you.
Yeah.
Irrespective of you being the military, irrespective of you being the immigration, irrespective of you being the police, this man coming from a legal mindset to guide you against future. You understand me? Situation that could lead the entire institution to court. So it's important. But I think the appointment of Kofi Woods matter at this point. Let's see how it plays out. The police director,
Homa.
there's people were looking more for a hands-on police director in hope for police hope for in what the ball name Abraham Kremar, because he mowed the guy, but then people think that he might come in as in operation, go out there in the field and do the work, because we don't want him to be like this with making police director, then he doing the work of our man Kwame Weeks who turned into Lina Panorama.
That is in the industry gathering news.
Moses.
Mela bro is a joke.
So it's better since AB Kuma is better an operations person. Let's keep him out there because we want a police director who is police director who's going to be directing the police. Then he out there in the field, you know.
You on keke.
They doing Lina Panorama.
Lord Jesus.
But gentlemen, I think is enough now. Let's go to
Yeah.
really and
But
do
no, man, forget it.
countries this one.
I just want the last part about it, man.
What's
And Kwame Opa
we'll
Kwame
come back.
Melina
We'll come
Diana
back to
General, who
Eva.
did the mega one little cell phone
But
here.
we'll come back to Eva. Need a deeper. Let's do memory link quick now.
And the man fighting to get on keke, you say, Diana General.
So Biggie Valley. We'll come back, Biggie. I wear your foot. We'll come back. Who told me to bring the example of you?
You are Jukos, man. What it means to be a Diana General.
Oh, God. I mean, making me laugh. Can't even read it too long. All right. So, Mane,
You buddy, I'm not talking about.
Mane Sumo, if I don't read a memory link, then I'm also responsible. I know.
You call you Diana General, man. You gave me a phone. But I call you fighting for keke. You Diana General.
And I see the dinner using Fago. Again, Calope.
Deputy Minister, my man, fighting for country. For keke.
Make it way,
Job, we are going to was a mess, man.
I mean, that's for everything. I think I can see again. All right, hold on. Yeah. I'm making
I'm just saying, when you enjoy, I'm
It depends what joy you have.
my man, I've been fighting for bicycle and give away.
I mean, you can wait for what the country is this. My big.
My man, let me get you chance.
Oh, God. Minus Sumo. This is Memory Lane, written by Minus Sumo, Dr. A. Minus Sumo. And this one is titled Let Me First Take My Seat, a tribute to Inauguration Day. It was 18 years ago, and lo, I say, I am Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, your Iron Lady. I'm here to fight and eliminate corruption in Liberia. Let me first take my seat. 12 years after, the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government goes into history as one of the most corrupt governments in the Republic of Liberia. 6 years ago, behold, I am Beku Bear, the word best. All I know is to do best. He copyrighted the Indians' pro-poor style of government. Like his predecessor, he too promised to fight corruption, but his government goes into history as the most unfocused and corrupt government in Liberia. I am Joseph Yuma Boakai, he cried. I have spent all my life working for you, my Liberian people. Let me first take my seat, and you will see my juice. So as we wait to see the juice of Ambassador Boakai, let me take my people down memory lane. In 1943 general elections of Liberia, Edwin Barclay was the incumbent president. President Barclay did not participate in the 1943 election. However, he recommended and lobbied for William V.S. Tubman to be his successor. So Tubman ran unopposed. That is, no one ran against Tubman in 1943 in the presidential elections. In the 1951 presidential elections, Tubman again ran unopposed following the disqualification of the Reformation Party. The 1951 election was the first election in Liberia that gave the right for women and native landowner to vote rather. All prior elections, only American Liberian men could vote. In the 1955 presidential election, for the first time since 1931, there were multiple political parties and candidates in the presidential election. The parties included the True Week Party, the Independent True Week Party, Liberia Destiny Party, Liberia Education and Development Party, Liberia Equal Rights Party, Liberia National Union, Liberia Restoration Party, Liberia People's Party, and Liberia Party and the Liberty Party of Liberia. They who represented the native people, or D12, he meant to say D12 represented the native people, was barred from running. The 1955 election, two main contenders were Tubman of the True Wing Party and the former President Edwin Barkley of the Independent True Wing Party. By then, the love and friendship between Barkley and Tubman had broken. They became bitter enemies. Despite the many political parties in the 1955 presidential election, William Tubman of the True Whig Party was easily re-elected, winning over 99.5% of the votes. In 1959 presidential election, William Tubman of the True Whig Party ran against independent candidate Mr. William O. Davis Bright. Tubman was re-elected for a fourth term. It was in 1959, for the first time in Liberia, that a woman was elected to the legislature. Her name was Ellie Mays Scarborough. Again in 1963 presidential election, President Tubman ran unopposed. In 1967 presidential election, President Tubman again ran unopposed. Then in 1971 presidential election, President Tubman ran again unopposed. On November 14, 2023, Liberians went to the poll in a multi-party general elections and elected Joseph Human Boakai as their president. Bravo, bravo, bravo. Liberians, we all have demonstrated the highest echelon of a citizen. Yeah, I ask you all just one favor. Can we all take a walk with Joe? A coming peace. And that's a piece here written by Dr. Manin Sumo, a contributor to the Issues Room. And this is his memory lane. And it's titled, Let Me First Take My Seat, a tribute to Inauguration Day. Gentlemen, welcome
Thank you.
to what type of country is this?
What type of country is it? Thank you, Dr. Sumo. Great job. Let me take my seat. And that's what we are looking at. 100 days.
Because the promises were made prior to taking the seat. Then when you take the
Yeah.
seat now, the
So
story
you are
changes.
taking the seat now. And we want to see whether George Weah and his talks will be brought to justice for the robbery of the country for the past 6 years. We want to see whether the motorcyclists will continue to take over the traffic in Monrovia. We want to see what will happen with our brothers who are in the ghettos, who are sleeping in the cemeteries. We want to see what will happen to the Rabat International Airport, highway, and other roads in the country. We want to see what will happen to Natana Magel, Bill Traore, Nugwe, Emmanuel Nugwe, and all these people who have stain on their characters. Yeah.
We want to see if there will be asset declaration. We want to
Yes,
see if
a
there will
very key one.
we want to see if there will be audits. We want to see if the TRC recommendations to establish a war and economic crimes court will take precedent within these first 100 days. We really want to see whether this president will be flying private jets and going to watch the World Cup and sitting there for 49 days. We want to see, oh, yes, this president going and bringing resources back to the country and saying, I mean, when? It's for me. Nobody might bring that food in there to me. Oh. We want to see. We want to see if there will be extrajudicial killings. We really want to see. We want to see if there will be any further investigation for the auditors. Oh yes, we want to see. And I like this new way you started it, Moses. Alfonso, what you want to see?
I think you and Moses hit everything on the head.
No, there's
What?
more. I mean, there's
Yeah.
more, man. We want to see whether the bee mountain or what kind of mountain will
Mhm.
turn into Bee
I'm
Valley.
coming. Yeah, no, I was going to add my little 2 cents. I think
So
you and Moses hit everything on the head, but I want to see the creation of jobs to improve the economy of the country.
That's a
I
good
think
one.
that's very significant. That's very serious.
just keep
Linda,
saying it. Don't come get historical
no,
background.
hold on.
Yeah,
Linda
I'm more.
Thomas, hold on, coming. Linda Thomas Greenfield said something very important today after the meeting. She said U.S. investors can't wait
So come.
to come.
Wow,
They
that's
just need
laudable.
the environment. Yeah, and that was significant.
Easy the Germany man can't wait
Yeah.
to come. It meant forcing the public to come.
The Japanese man can't wait.
That's laudable, man. It's
Yeah,
really laudable.
You
yeah.
wait. You want the public to sign. The public say, hold on, my man. Let me see where you talking here. They want our interest.
Hey, man, you just come bring people to me, some son.
We want to
So
see the prices of commodity go down. We're not
yeah.
saying that the global effect in the world does not
Mm,
matter, but
mm,
but 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 businesses should just arbitrarily bring
no, no. Yeah.
messed up commodities on our market and for people to
Jack up
pay the
the
high
price.
end money and then
Mm,
there's no good product. We want to see Jetty not being the sole proprietor of Coca-Cola, of steel raw from our own little scrap material. We want to see that SETI. Okay, we want to see Jetty not feeding our prisoners anymore. They're not his responsibility. We want to see
mhm,
Sir Joseph not running his own
mhm,
ambulance around the place and acting like he own ambulance company.
mhm, mhm,
We want to see Prince Johnson not building a university and bragging about it with the country's money because he was able to play for play, pay for play, or play for pay, whichever you
I
call it.
may pay for play.
Yeah, but
I
man,
want
there's
to
so much
see.
we want
I
to see.
want to see Zogos. Or want to see number 14 military hospital turned into a psychiatric facility for Zogos and abandoned children.
We want to
That
see
would
a
be
lot.
one of my proposals to the government. Number
Christopher Wesley said we want to see more investors in the country creating jobs in the
in
private sector.
private sector.
Yeah.
Come on,
Exactly.
tell us, gentlemen, ladies, out
We
there tonight. Tell us what you want to see in this
we
dispensation.
want to see our young people making it into the labor force.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to get our sisters off the street. We want to see that. We want our sisters to begin to feel that being a part of the labor force is something that you should be proud of.
Yeah.
We want to see that.
As Josh Weah said, we don't want our people to be spectators in the economy of the country.
Absolutely. We
Okay,
want to see
man,
that.
listen, y'all don't want to tell the story. We want to see no more telling in the country. We want to see legislature, whoever you are, you riding in
No more telling. Yeah.
telling in the country,
No more telling.
causing potential accident and danger to
Yeah.
human lives.
We want to see that.
We want to see pimping man, every pimping man riding motorbike with helmet. And only
Yes.
one passenger not holding cement bag on the head with baby on the back
The
and
table on the other side.
we don't want to see that. I don't care what you say. The money is not better than lives. We can't continue to create our country looking ugly. We can. We can. We want to see the establishment of rule of law, Moses. We want to
Absolutely.
see that.
We
We
want
want
to
to
see.
see. We want JFK to look like a hospital again. We want JFK to look like a hospital full with drugs. Oh, my man said, I want to see DJ Weah tell the Liberian people how he got that private jet. Yeah, we need to
Yes,
know.
Amma. Yeah, that's true.
We need to know.
We need
My
to
man, my
know.
man, my man Edward Nifo said, I would love to see more Liberian millionaires. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're looking forward to that.
want to
Manny
see
Silva said,
Liberian taking over the
we want
economy.
to base a city mayor who knows his job. We want to
Yes,
see
we
a
want to
city
see
mayor.
that
Oh, not matter of fact, we want to see a
city.
clean cities
Yeah,
across the country.
we want
Clean
to see
cities.
us a clean
Christopher
city.
Wesley said,
We
we want
want to
to
see
see the look.
marketplaces that we can go to and be proud of.
Christopher Wesley said, we want to see the Liberianization policy implemented to the letter. We want to
Yes,
see that.
we want to see
Want to
that.
see. We want to see our tourism sector improve. The president
Yes,
mentioned that. Can you imagine? We have a beautiful coastal line of 350 miles of ocean water, and we can't show nothing for it. Jackie McCarthy said we want to see a trash day.
yes.
Trash day.
We want to see our hospitals in a better position, in a better shape, with drugs, medical doctors.
We
We
we,
want to
we,
see that.
we, we, we applaud the president for giving free education, but not waking up in the morning and say free education. So if we're going to sustain the free education, we want resources put into the free education to make it comparable
Better.
to any educational system in the world. We want to
Yes.
see Shaki McCaffrey said we want to see every house with house number. Yeah, don't
Yes.
say that red house down the road. When you pass,
Now,
ask that small girl that's selling grumpy, then she will tell you where the yellow house is. Then when you pass by the yellow house, you'll cross one small creek, giving
we
direction.
want to see a functional fire service.
We want to see more Liberian youth on scholarship. I'm a
Yes.
Freeman. Oh, my man said, I want to see the first 90 days to 1 year. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But what in the 90 days you want to see?
Yeah. Want to see the first 90 day kicking off, my man.
Jackie
Everybody
McCaffrey
say,
said, I
yeah,
want
we
to be
got it.
able to send a postal mail from Monrovia to Buchanan. Okay, my man, you're
Yeah.
asking for more.
We want to see that. The expectations are high, but we want
Honestly,
to
people
see
say we
some
want to
concrete
see a safe
actions.
country, free from iron gates.
Yeah. We want to see a country that I don't have to go to bed 6 o'clock at night. You know?
But we also want to see a country where we start minimizing the use of iron bar,
Yes.
iron door, iron everything, so that when
Can you
fire
imagine,
comes,
my
there's
man? We're
nowhere to
literally living in prisons,
come.
my man.
Yeah, that's what.
We
That
want we want
that's
to see a better
terrible.
Liberia.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
We want to see places where a country where the marketers don't come on the street and sell and dead in the street and then pack the bag and go in the night and just leave the place filtered. They must utilize the market. We want to see the marketers selling at Ominga. We want to see the marketers selling, moving from red light. Red light is not a market.
Right.
It's not a market. It's the Ominga. We want to see them going to Douala. We want to see them going to Raleigh Town, Jogwen market and sell in the market rather than all over the place.
Hmm.
That's what we want to see.
We want to see. We
Jackie
want to
Somebody
see
McCaffrey.
said
progress.
somebody said they want to see auditing, loading.
Yeah.
That's good. We want to
We want
see
to
that.
see we want to see our fire truck with water. Don't come here with empty fire truck.
Yeah.
Not just come see the fire
Yeah, my man.
and then go look for water.
We want to see our police officers, man, moving with patrol cars. We want to see our police
Not
officers
in faded gray
not in
uniform.
further grade
In faded gray uniform.
with slippers.
The faded gray slippers.
We want to see a respectable military. We want to see a respectable drug enforcement agency that will go after the drug dealers.
Most of one important thing we want to see, all of the people that President Boakai is appointing, we want to see them in servant leadership character.
Yes.
Servant leadership character. No
Character.
bossman business here.
Yeah,
Don't
we
be that
want to
boss. But man, if I get job in Liberia, the minister myself, we got to talk. I come to work. I'm coming to come speak to you because I'm not forced to. I keep doing
no.
my job. Let's just say if I were to work,
I say, oh, Chief,
yeah,
good morning, or
yeah,
before I go
I
to my
can't tell you
office.
say hello
No.
and chief and all of that. You got to be a servant leader. You should be the one calling me say, my man, you coming to work,
Yeah.
not the other way around.
No.
You know. We want to see our police officers trained in establishing a scene and preventing people from I believe a crime scene and
Yeah.
preventing people from being on the crime scene like what happened at the gas tank fire.
Yeah, in tourism.
Shaggy McCaffrey. We want. I'm Freeman said we want to see. We want to see corrupt government officials in jail or prison
Yes.
after they've gone through the due process.
Mm-hmm. We want to see that.
Mane Sumo said, whatever country is this when they dress the president with heating clothing? But man, we can get to it here. Okay, we want to see our president not wear those clothes again.
Yeah.
We want to see country first above greed. Mane Sumo.
That's a good one. We want to see country first above greed. Yeah.
So Moses.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're talking about the police director job. We thought A.B. Kumar would be a good police director, but he erred at operations. So instead of a man being police director, then he on a fee all day. He can't stay in the office. He not doing it. Yeah. So
He's an operation man.
yeah, so let
You
him
know.
just be in the field, right?
Yeah, I would say AB would make a very good. He's qualified for both positions. But since he's a hands-on man, he will make a good deputy for operation.
My man said we want to see legitimate garage stuff. My man, everywhere the people if the car break down in the middle of the road, the man fix the car in the road. Like 3 or 4 days, that car will be in the middle of the road.
Right in the middle of the road.
Right in the middle of the road, my man. That one of the things I can't stand. And I'm
Yeah,
asking
but
myself, what
risky.
type of lawless society is this? Nobody would say, but man, I don't care how you move the car, you gotta drag it, you gotta push it, you gotta put it to the side. The people would literally lay down on the car in the middle of the road to do repair.
Wow,
What type of country is this?
that's too risky, my man.
But it's not that risky, but then it impedes the
It's
flow of
blocking and
traffic.
impeding everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's impeding, but it's also risky because Volcano, you could be driving, let's say like in the night, you don't okay, let's say day hours are when they're doing it. You could be driving from another end, and let's say you're doing
But
80, 90 miles
hold
per
on,
hour.
you know how the mechanic will go and put it here on the there four way outside?
Yeah.
How the man for to be across the road in the street?
And
Wow.
somebody could just run over that
Hey
foot.
bro, what you, my man?
I mean, I give up.
Damn, but my
But
man, Kuma has a lot of work to do
Oh yes,
to
oh yes,
prevent that, my man.
oh yes, oh yes. So I don't know. That was it.
Yeah.
Much to be deputy for
I
operations.
mean, let's use this opportunity to appeal to President Boakai. The police, there gotta be a lot of support because you need to get those kind of people off the streets.
Yeah,
You have police tow truck.
we want to see our children in schools and learning. Our future is messed up right now.
Mhm.
55% of our youth are uneducated.
Wow.
Yes, Shaki McCaffrey. We want to see a country with tow trucks.
Yeah.
Shaki McCaffrey. We want to see our streets with
Mhm.
median. I think he mean median to
Yeah.
prevent the terroring business.
Mhm.
Liberia, we want to see idle sycophants going to receive Boakai at the airport when he returns from foreign trips. Okay, don't want to see. Okay,
That
we
we
don't
don't
want to
want to see.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, idle sycophants. Yeah, that's true. Uh, street garage is common in Ghana. The same they brought to Liberia. Wow. Okay,
Hmm. It's risky. Oh.
very risky. Yeah,
Very
but
risky.
gentlemen, man, it's 9:33 in the
Yeah, it's great
city.
show. I think
Let's
we
make
should call it a
yeah,
night.
let's just say our parting thing and then walk out of here. Let's start with you, Moses.
All I can say that we look forward to a better Liberia, and we strongly believe that this administration will do better than what we saw for the last 6 years. Mhm.
yeah, I agree. I think it's left with us as people who discuss these things to change the narrative in the
Yeah,
country from what happened yesterday and begin to focus on this government's programs and policies and agendas as a way of moving, uh, contributing our quota to moving the country forward, and also holding them actually what we just did to say what we want to see is very important. That's the way we can hold this government's feet to the fire and make sure it does the right thing.
And honestly, I think that as the president begin to uh, the countdown of his first 100 days. Every day matters for me.
Yep.
When you make an assertion that in your first 100 days will see a lot, then every day should matter.
Oh
It's
yeah.
no more business as usual. To go back to what Moses said, 100 days mean 100 days, and every second, meaning hour, day matter in those
Yes.
first 100 days, and he must take it very seriously. He must
Hmm.
commit. The lieutenants he's putting in must begin to work. And let people begin to think now that this whole thing, I think the key word here, no, not is not business as usual. Don't come here with your friendship thing again. Go out there. I keep saying 5.2 million people. We can keep having the recyclables. We can keep having the recyclables. We can't keep having the same people. Everybody saying, oh, like Unity Party coming back. We know Unity Party people should get some job. But let it not be a Unity Party government. There are
And what
5.2 million Liberians out here. Let's utilize every talent on board. Those of you who are chief lieutenants being placed at the top of the echelon, begin to look outside. Stop the nepotism, stop the tribalism, stop the friendship, and begin to use Liberians across all spectrums with the intelligence, the capability that commensurate with the qualification, the experience. If you have to come in the diaspora, if you have to stay on the grounds, let's do a what I would consider a mixture. Because some of the people in the diaspora bring a lot to Liberia. They bring capacity building. They bring accountability. Many of the Liberians who work in America are accountable because they don't keep those jobs if they're not accountable. The people in Liberia may have the skill set on the local level, but when you merge these kinds of talents together, you get better results. Don't continue
Absolutely.
to bring your friend. Don't continue to bring your girlfriend. Your girlfriend ain't got no skill, but you want to employ her because it's the opportunity for her to be somewhere. Let's stop this thing. That's why it's the man says that it's not business as usual, because that would be considered business as
As
usual.
usual, yeah. Yeah, I don't have to tell you, say, oh, so what do I get in return before I hire you? No. If you do that, then that's business as usual. You don't have to know Volcano before you can say, oh, well, whether he can do the job or not. Look at the man's resume, talk to the man, look at his work experience, and say, I think we should give him the opportunity. Yeah,
So I mean that's my closing thought here tonight.
I agree.
I think no
That's a
business
good
as
one.
usual. Stop this whole thing here, bringing your friend. I mean, if I send you my resume, look at it, at least interview me and give me an opportunity to hear me out.
Yeah,
And don't think that because my background is in this era, I can function in that era.
no,
It doesn't make sense when people it's a must that we interview. We
hmm
interview in this country.
hmm
Once your resume hit the desk, the interviewer can say, "Oh, I don't think the person," but still you got to do it because the
yeah,
person
yeah.
needs to know the truth.
hmm Interview the president, Yeah. Thank you. Great show, guys.
My man say he want to see Moses Sandy wearing a hat and asking me for help. Because,
Well, me, I will wear my hat next week.
that man always asking me, Alfonso,
yeah.
when he ganging up against you,
When he's on it, then you call your name.
yeah, he said, yeah, Volcano.
I will wear my hat very soon. I think I need a Kanye in my hat. Yeah.
Begin wearing your hammer, man. It's important.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But I know we're wrapping it now, but let's pray for this guy who passed, man, and his family
Yeah, it's a
in
sad thing.
Minnesota. It's a real you see, Volcano, you see how life is so unpredictable, man.
The man going to bask in the glory and the
I tell you, my
happiness
man, on it
of
to
his
die.
country. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Damn.
We don't
He
know.
bought he
There's
bought
nothing.
his ticket, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, may the Lord have mercy upon his soul and the faithfully departed,
Yeah, and
and
his
will wish
family
his
as
family
well.
well,
His
during this
family,
difficult moment.
his kids, if he has kids, everybody, they all must be devastated right now. So,
Yeah.
And to be frank with you, when I hear something like this and I think about it, at what point did he not remove himself from danger? That's one. Did he have underlying health condition that may have impeded his ability to move himself from danger right away? These are things that everybody dresses up and looks so sparkling and for those kind of prom and pageantry and the backs in the glory, but they may have underlying conditions. And if the
Pre-existing.
environment is not conducive to entertain and sustain and support their immunity, in those conditions, we don't know. We didn't do a health check and all those things. Because at what point did this brother did not say to himself, "Damn, I gotta get out of this yet. I gotta get out of this. It's not it's not helpful." But to what point did was he able to get to his car if he had one to start? I mean, you know how long it'll take. We in the winter here, the real winter.
Oh,
I
yeah.
started the car the other day. I drove from work all the way home before the heat came on.
It was cool.
It was cold. I drove from work all the way home. I'm
Yeah.
bumping my hand at the light. The heat just blowing warm air in. I reached home before it's not turning
Before you started feeling the real heat.
So I go to Liberia every time. So I tell him the truth.
The
And
heat was
sometimes, yeah,
you were on. I think you wanted 90 degrees.
The man wanted to feel warm in his car and he couldn't feel it.
I wanted to be instantly
Yeah, you
consoled.
wanted instant. Yeah.
I wanted to be instantly consoled.
Yeah.
And I would believe that people who left from there were trying to be instantly consoled. But the heat was so hot that the air conditioner, I have driven in Liberia in this weather, and the air conditioner seemed to be blowing breeze. I'm not kidding you. Why do you think we are signaling a man to turn his car on before he could get there?
Because he wanted the engine to run, my man.
Yeah, it was hot. It was too hot.
Yeah.
It was just unbearable.
Yeah.
All right, man. Yeah.
It was hot. It was hot. Well, he left the motorcade.
Oh, so
Good job. He left the motorcade behind and went to Italy.
So we
Good
take
job.
the car instead. We take the motorcade for him. Yeah.
Oh, somebody was saying they said they saw Jefferson crying, because he thought he was running away. Then they asked him, but just get on the plane with me. He said, "No, I can't go because I'm on sanction."
Oh, man, for God. Then man wants that new show again.
So they say the man went to the airport. But sometimes they bother. We saw Eugene Nambwe and little picking there on the airport. The man was down there dancing, just a song on a small ball.
But,
Why you guys don't have regards for themselves?
man,
Let's also talk to Eugene, our man. Come on.
Man, Eugene is a sycophant. He stands for nothing.
What the essence of carrying up picking on the airport with a uniform on, with a beret on, and they're chanting and singing and you joining them?
Yeah.
You are a government official.
A senior one too.
What? Well, man, I give up, man. The other one here, let it be so bad. Let it be so.
Man, Eugene falls for everything.
I said let it be so.
Yeah.
Liberian will let it be so.
so my brothers, I see that.
People,
Yeah.
you're good now.
Yeah, my people, it was good being here. You
Yeah.
enjoy it. I will come back on Friday.
I can run down the list. Y'all, thank you so much for. Oh no, but let it last one here.
Oh,
Well,
the
hold on.
cash app.
No. Oh yeah, we were sort of talking about it. Let's do it Friday. Let's talk
Okay.
about it after the show quick.
Mhm.
Our little conversation Sunday. But when you get a frisk, we get two frisky, man. Eh?
that
Two
woman.
frisky.
What you can say?
But got a small boy.
Yeah, Bagala is number.
Eh? And you must tell you where you tell the money
Yeah.
from.
That woman, yeah, we
Now that Omar, eh?
Yeah.
Oh my devil, you get into ho. He
Yeah,
come
you get
like say, man. He shut us.
The
But
Omar
that Oma blasting me, you gotta go pay the paper.
Yeah. You
Omar
can
put
call
your
the papi
keys.
right away
Yeah,
to
sure,
talk to
man.
say sorry. The Omar said, you got two biscuits.
What kind of man is just going around causing president there? Eh? What kind of small boy? What kind of tell you where you take the money from? What kind of live with you? You get? Too frisky, man. What kind of frisky boy also?
Tell them they're too frisky. Was Yeke at the program yesterday? I didn't see him. Oh,
My man, that blow up, that blow up
Yeah,
too fast. Where you see
he
him?
was there. He's supposed to
Yeah,
be
you know
there.
Yeke that attention seeker, my man.
yeah.
That ball going to pass in from camera yesterday.
He was there. The play was there crowded. Yeah.
Yeah, guys,
All
but
right.
it was good being here, man.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
my people. We'll see you on
Yeah, we'll
Friday.
be here on
Thank
Friday
you,
by God's
late
grace.
now. I want to call all the names here tonight,
I
but
know.
everyone who
Yeah.
showed up, come back Friday. We'll have more to discuss. Thank you so
Sure.
much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Almost 10 o'clock. All
Yeah,
right, guys. Good
yeah,
night,
All
man.
right.
Good night.
let's
Enjoy, my man.
you're gonna hang backstage for just 2 minutes, quick, just 2 minutes.